Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. Am I live tomorrow? I'm going to be doing the Unapologetic live tomorrow, so I'll be on that. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. It should be. Oop. Yeah, sorry, there's like that darn car out there. Let me get set up. I was doing a bit of note-taking of the book that I finished recently, The End of the Timeless God by Ryan Mullins. It has a lot of really interesting arguments. I'm convinced that a lot of them probably go through. That, for example, I think the idea of a God existing under presentism, the idea that only the present exists, I think that that's probably gibberish. That seems to run into like immediate problems with things like, or I don't know if I mentioned like a timeless God existing under presentism. That seems to run into problems with both him creating things and also with him like being able to know things. Like if presentism is true, there's like some fact of the matter as to what moment is right now, and God is utterly incapable of knowing that. Anyway, make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. As we go. If you're in that guest request box, I ask that you be 18 or older. I ask that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. I also ask that you have some sort of argument or evidence for God's existence. WTX Sander, I don't know if you're aware of this, but you're not even in the queue. You get a request to join. Here, let me help you. Oh, then no, don't join if you're not 18. Hey, it's you again.
Yes, sir.
Yep, what do you got this time?
Yes, sir. I have no reason to defeat for the statement God isn't real, such that he is real.
Oh wait, sorry. I can't hear you. You sound a bit muffled.
Yeah, saying that given the statement God isn't real isn't substantiated, I've just given no reason to defeat her, such that it is true that God is real.
Well, you know, the statement that God is real isn't substantiated and that there's no defeater given. So I arrive at the conclusion that God isn't real.
I have reasons to take no reason defeaters to not be applicable here. For instance, if you were to say, you can't restrict no reason defeaters, then the following contradiction would arise, which is that there's no reason to believe there's an odd amount of stars, such that we ought not believe there's an odd amount of stars. But if we don't believe that, then there's often an even amount of stars under our view. But then you could do the same thing for an even amount of stars, such that we both believe there's not an odd amount of stars and an odd amount of stars. That's a contradiction to now. Given that, what's the response?
Well, this is literally the exact sort of argument that you put forward in the first place. So if there's a contradiction on my argument, that would be a contradiction equally on your argument.
And by contradiction, you mean it's false on no models, right?
Yeah, whatever you mean by contradiction, you just claim that there's a contradiction in it.
Yeah, but I want to make sure you understand. So you understand model theory, right?
Model or modal?
Model as in MODEL.
No, I don't know anything about model theory.
So you don't even know what I mean? Like be syntactically entailed? Oh lord, okay. You might be unequipped for this, then it's fine.
Yeah.
I'll give you some.
Yeah, I'm intellectually diminished by not knowing model theory. I don't know. What branch is that in? Is that like a branch of logic? I've heard a lot of people bring this up lately. I have no idea what it is. Relationship between formal theories. Oh, is this just saying like, it's just this like the theory of like how we go from like ordinary sentences to formalized logic? Maybe I'm misunderstanding it. I don't know. I've only looked at it for like half a second. Hey, how's it going?
Oh, hey, it's going pretty good. How about you?
Doing well. How old are you?
I'm 18,
What year were you born?
2008,
What year did you graduate?
2016.
Wow. It's true what people say. That second question, the follow-up question is brutal, devastating even. 2016? Wow, that's incredible. You're 18 and you graduated like 3 years before I did? That's crazy. Wow. Anyway, if I currently have nobody requesting to join, so if you want to debate, if you think that God is real, if you disagree with this statement, then make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. I also ask that you have some sort of argument or evidence for God's existence. I guess I could yap for a sec while we wait for somebody to join. There was something that I had in mind, an argument against God that I was thinking about. I've made previously the argument that we can't have, you can't have atemporal causes because causes come before their effects. But I was thinking about it. I think maybe like a better argument is that causes require a change in the thing that's causing in order for the effect to be produced. If there was no change, then the effect would have been produced earlier. But that means that in order to have a change, you would need to have a time, which means that atemporal causes can't exist. The argument probably goes something like this. Causation requires a change in the thing that's causing. Changes require time. Therefore, causation is going to require time, which means that all causation is going to be within time. But anyway, if you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. And with that, we'll go to the very next guest. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, I'm doing all right. I'm an atheist, but I was hoping to get a question out while you were waiting for some guests, if that was okay.
Sure, that's fine.
Cool. I am not like particularly philosophically inclined, but I was hoping you might be able to give me like an intuitive response to like why tag fails. I've been trying to like get my head around it, but all of the responses just seem just as the argument itself. So I'm just looking for like an intuitive way to understand why, like, I don't know, they ask us like, oh, how do you ground your logic? And I'm like, I'm not sure how I ground my logic, honestly.
Well, there's a couple of things to say about it. I don't think that it's very well understood as like an argument. I think it's like more understood as like a debate tactic than anything. They aren't really putting forward like an argument. When you try to get them to formalize the argument, it's just obviously false. They give you something like premise 1, if knowledge exists, then God exists. Premise 2, knowledge exists, therefore God exists. And the problem with that is that the first premise is just obviously false. You have literally no reason to think that that's true, that if knowledge exists, then God exists. And when you ask them for a justification for it, they'll give you some gibberish. They'll say the impossibility of the contrary. And if you ask for a justification that the contrary is impossible, they'll burden shift. That's how every single tag debate goes. That's like the textbook tag debate. There are no justifications for that. They can't actually rule out all the other positions. But if you want like an argument that establishes, or if you want like an answer to the question of like where does logic come from, I'd argue that logic comes from difference itself. That in order to have distinct thoughts about something, in order to pick out one thing with your thoughts, if I'm thinking about a cat on the mat, I'm not thinking about all the things that aren't a cat on the mat. So in order to have a thought that actually picks out something unique, it needs to be different from all the other things. That's what logic guarantees. Logic guarantees that it's going to be, the thought that you have is different from all the things that it's not. So as soon as we have one thing that's not other things, well, that's the basis for logic.
Right, and I've tried running that before. I've had some opponents just respond with like, oh, but how do you know that though? How do you know that? And I say, well, I'm reasoning that it's the case, right? I can see that these things exist and they have an identity, but then they just say, well, how do you know that it has an identity though? And I just feel like they're just kind of like a 3-year-old who just keeps on asking why. But like,
sure,
like to their credit though, I'm not sure how to respond to that. Like all I can say is like, it's trivially true that these things are real.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if what you're looking for is like debate advice as opposed to a real answer, you should ask them equally bad faith questions and then run the exact same tactics. They're not prepared for it. You know, when somebody asks you, how do you know that? How do you know that? How do you know that? You should interrupt them, say, wait, how do I know what? And then when they say, or I don't know, like you should ask like a clarifying question about like when you say knowledge, maybe what you should ask them is like, by knowledge, what theory of knowledge do you hold to? And then when they give you a definition of knowledge, you should ask them, how do they know that? You should just turn it on them.
Sure,
And then, I don't know, just like try to stay meta. You know, if they say that you're burden shifting or dodging or pivoting, you should say, well, how do you know that you're burden shifting or dodging or pivoting? Like you should just be equally bad faith. Tag people genuinely cannot cope with that tactic.
Yeah, they just keep on insisting that like, you have to use logic in order to ground your logic, and I don't feel like that's the case.
Well, you should ask them how they know that.
Yeah. No, that's
Well, I don't know.
really
Like if they're asking you like horrendous faith questions, then just be horrendous faith in return.
You know what? That's actually solid advice. I'll do that. All right, I appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, take it easy.
Yep. Hey, thanks. Appreciate it. If you want like a good example of this is the exact tactic that I ran in like a debate that got posted. It's only 4 minutes long because that's how long it took for the tag person to crash the fuck out and lose the debate. But I ran that exact tactic. I asked him, sorry, did you ask me a question just now? And he said, yes. And then I said, how do you know you asked me a question just now? And then he started like, I don't know, he went into like a whirlwind of insults. And then I just asked him, well, how do you know those things? How do you know that? How do you know that? And then he crashed the fuck out and left. You know, they like running the tactic on other people. They don't like it when that tactic gets run on themselves. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. Currently only have like one person requesting to join. Hey, how's it going?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. How old are you?
25.
Yep. What religion?
I'm Muslim, but I had a quick question, my friend. Like,
Sure.
I came here and I saw your topic. If God isn't real, is it like, why do you want to convince? Like, if people believe God is real, do you believe it brings some type of harm, or do you think you are helping? Like, do you think you're solving a big issue when you say God isn't real? What's the purpose?
Oh, well, the purpose is to believe true things. You know, I'm interested in believing true things.
No, it's actually, well, if they believe one thing is true and you believe it's false, you cannot convince them. Then what's your point? God
Are you
isn't
asking
real.
for like rhetoric advice? Like, what should you do to convince people? It seems like you don't really have like a reason to think that God exists.
No, I do.
Okay, what's your reason for thinking that God exists?
Yeah. Are we gonna get into that for a long time? But I just had a question.
I don't think we're going to get into that. You seem to
we
be
are.
dodging and evading.
No, of course we are. Don't worry.
Okay.
100% we're gonna go.
Well,
Don't worry. But do you?
Yeah,
think
the
that
reason I do this
people
is because it's
believe-
helpful in order to refine my worldview. Being able to talk to people and argue with them and then get clear and drill deeper into problems that might arise in my worldview is great practice, both rhetorically in terms of public speaking, but also philosophically in getting better, sharper arguments that demonstrate my point as best as they can. So what's your argument for God existing?
Yeah, God existing. I would say, however you want to call it, when something knows people more than they do themselves, it necessitates that He is the creator. He knows us. He knows information we couldn't even know
Like what?
before we knew it. Well, about space, about everything, about
Like what?
You know what? I'm not gonna get into that. Let's talk about why God is real. God is real. Why? Because everything has a
Okay. On to the next one. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Yep, how old are you?
Yeah, 18.
And what religion?
No, I'm not even really trying to hear debate. I wanted to say something about like relations for logic or like truth. What'd you meant by like that?
I don't even know what you're asking. Also, wait, what year were
Yeah,
you
so you
born?
were
You
trying to
sound
get, like,
quite young.
objection.
Sorry, one thing
Yeah,
at a time.
2008.
Okay.
Yeah, 2008.
Sure. What are you asking?
Right. Yeah. So like you were giving out like an objection to tag, right? And you said like we're gonna find truth through like negation. of like identity or something along the lines of that.
Well, just that logic itself is ultimately grounded in the fact that some things are not other things. That's why it's impossible to reject things like the law of non-contradiction, because in order to reject it, you're affirming that there's some way that reality is not, and that it would be false to say that it is that way, which
Okay,
of
so if
course
I-
is like that presupposes the law of non-contradiction. So you need to presuppose the law of non-contradiction in order to deny it.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is that we just like find truth through like negations of what it's not.
I don't think I said that.
Could you like expand?
Yeah. The reason why we know that the law of non-contradiction is true is because to deny it presupposes it.
How?
I explained this earlier. I'll explain it a second time, I guess. When you're saying that there's some state of affairs that is not the case, specifically, you're saying that it's not the case that the law of non-contradiction is true. What you're presupposing there is that there's a way reality is and a way that it's not, and that it's true to say that it is the way that it is, and false to say that it's not the way that it's not, which is just the law of non-contradiction. Also, there's an echo. Do you have like headphones or something of that sort?
No. Because like tag, like it's a pretty blunt argument. I don't really know how to respond to it.
You just
So-
say what I just said. You just say you presuppose the
You
law of
presuppose-
non-contradiction, the attempt to deny it.
Because like I've tried holding to like pragmatic truth, but I haven't read anything about that. So
I don't know. There's no reason to run that. Just run, I don't know. You should just use Aristotle's argument. If you want like a good philosophy paper on it. Fuck, what's this dude's name? There's a good philosophy paper by Marco Simeonato.
how do you spell it?
Simionato. The paper is titled.
You said Mark.
Yeah, Marco.
Okay, Marco.
Let me make sure this is the right paper. Yep. Okay. It's titled "How to Defend the Law of Non-Contradiction Without Incurring the Dialetheist's Charge of Viciously Begging the Question." It goes over and defends an approach that Aristotle lays out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, chat is funny. Basically, Aristotle. The argument that Aristotle gives for the law of non-contradiction is that to deny it presupposes it, and as such, we can't deny the law of non-contradiction.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look into that. Thanks for the advice.
Yep.
Yep. Thank you. Have a good day.
Yep. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen. Doing all that good stuff. If you're in that guest request box, I currently have nobody requesting to join. I don't know what's going on with the algorithm. The algorithm's being cruel. Make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. I also ask that you have some sort of argument or evidence for God's existence. I see a lot of people making a lot of claims. God's a necessary being. I'd love to hear the argument for any of that. I doubt we will. Let's see. Hey, how's it going?
Would you like some assistance?
How old are you?
Oh, I'm doing okay. I'm 35 years old.
It's like a
I was
huge
wondering if you
delay.
needed some
Sorry.
assistance.
The delay is like genuinely
I'm an
unbearable. Who? Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
How old are you?
I'm 18.
Yep, and what religion?
I actually don't really believe in God, but I was just was thinking, and I
Okay.
wanted to say
That's fine. I'm only really looking to debate with believers, so I don't know why we're getting all these non-believers. What we're looking for explicitly is believers. Only request to join if you think that God exists. I'm trying to debate people who think that God is real. Currently I have 0 people requesting to join. So if you disagree with the prompt, if you think God is real, then feel free to request to join. You must be 18 or older. You got to believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. I also ask that you have some sort of argument or evidence for God's existence. I suppose I can read supers. Phantom Ranger Earth, thanks so much for the super chat. What are your thoughts on AI music? Love your content. I mean, I think that's pretty lifeless. Although I do think that almost certainly all art in the future at some point is going to rely fundamentally on AI for assistance. But I don't think it's going to be like I think the top art will be assisted by AI, but not entirely generated by it. As will be the case with most industries. You know, like coding, for example, the state of coding right now is that, you know, good coders are going to use AI to write a lot of their code, but it's always going to be under the supervision of like a coder. It's never going to be, you know, you're not saying like, oh, make me a function that does this like impossibly complicated thing. It's going to be bits and pieces. Did Alex O'Connor use Majesty of Reason to sell tour tickets? No. Everything Alex O'Connor said with Majesty of Reason is like 100% true. It's like obviously true. If you don't think that, like if you think that he's using Joe Schmidt, who's by the way an agnostic, to sell tour tickets, you probably fall into the category of people that just hate God. You know, you're not like me. I think that if you embrace like some wacky conspiracies like that, what he's actually doing is engaging seriously with like philosophical literature. He's really good at that. And I don't know, like for some reason, like engaging seriously with philosophical literature, you know, taking your opponent's arguments seriously. We live in like a state of atheism where you're the asshole for taking your opponent seriously to some people. Mako, thanks so much for the super chat. The 5 gifted memberships, appreciate it. I still have nobody requesting to join. Damn, do I just need to restart the stream? I might do that. Let's hit a reset. Give me just a sec. Where the heck? Where the flip did my pen go? Oh, okay, it's just right there. LOL. LMFAO, dude. Okay, let me hit this reset. Okay, it's sent out. Yeah, I was I don't know, I was thinking, I was like reflecting. I was reflecting for just a second about Majesty of Reason stuff and like the recent controversy. I think to an extent they're speaking past each other because I mean otherwise I think we have like bigger problems if they're not speaking past each other. It just is true in a variety of circumstances that claims are evidence. You know, for example, like all the examples that Joe Schmidt gives are perfect ones. Even, you know, your friend tells you that he bought a soccer ball that should probably rationally that should probably raise your credence in your friend owning a new soccer ball. You know, if your friend tells you that they're sad, rationally that should probably raise your credence that your friend might be sad. It doesn't guarantee that it's true. There could be like a defeater, you know, maybe your friend is dishonest. But there's just like so many circumstances, like the average circumstance where a person claims that they're sad, or they say like, well, I think this thing, that's just like really good evidence that they actually do think that thing, or they actually are feeling that way, or they actually did buy a soccer ball. Maybe like the claim that needs to be made is that, you know, claims, in order to assess the evidence of a claim, you would need to understand like the people making the claim. But like Joe Schmidt would agree with that. So it kind of seems in that sense that they're talking past each other.
Hello, sir. Thank you for having me.
Yep. How old are you?
I'm 30 years old. I'm also a youth pastor.
30 years old? You sound like younger than that.
Yeah, I get that. I was born in 1995.
Sure. What religion are you? Oh, I'm sorry. That was a dumb question. You said you're a youth pastor.
I am, but I'm of the Southern Baptist denomination.
Okay. What makes you think that God exists?
I'll use an analogy. Say you're walking through the woods, you see a computer. Do you think that computer was put there just from a bunch of physical properties all spinning around in gravity, or did that computer have a maker? Was it intelligently designed?
That doesn't really seem to be the only two options. You know, if we know, first of all, this isn't going to be analogous because we know where computers come from. We know computers are built, which is why if we saw a computer in the woods, we could know that it's built because computers in general are built. But also, we can determine where life comes from, which is what it's meant to be analogous to, by looking at our evolutionary history. You know, we can evaluate the fossil record. And when we look to the traits that humans have the traits that would seem to suggest, you know, that what we're optimized for is survival and reproduction. That's why we have the cognitive biases that we do. That's why humans often partake in selfish and jealous behaviors. It doesn't look like we were designed towards what God would probably want, which is like, you know, designed towards goodness. There's a million ways that God could have made our design a bit more good. You know, for example, he could have made something like rape like anatomically impossible, such that in order to have sex, both parties would need to be consenting, otherwise like the genitals just wouldn't function. That wouldn't take away anyone's free will, and it would prevent that type of action from occurring. So I don't know, why would God give us that capability?
I'll pray for you, faggot.
Okay. You got a bit quiet there on the slur. Couldn't say it with your chest. Well, make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. Spawn killed indeed. Spawn killed indeed. Well, hey, I currently have 0 people requesting to join. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you believe at the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. I also ask that you have some sort of reason to think that God exists. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the algorithm today. I have 0 people requesting to join. Not sure why. But I guess I suppose I could yap. I could yap for a second. No, I think that yap would be like way too boring. I don't know. Just make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, all right. How are you doing?
Doing well. How old are you?
I am 59.
Yep. And what religion?
I'm not part of religion.
What do you believe?
I believe that there is and exists in a powerful force, a source that reigns within this universe or galaxies.
Does it have a mind?
I know that. Does it have a mind? I would say yes, a conscious mind, or I would hate to hit you with what do you mean by mind, or when
Just
we
like
use
something
words
with like mental states, you know, something with like, I don't know, like qualitative experience.
a knowing, a knowledge.
Yeah, that
I
would be a
think
part
so.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely think that exists, being that we ourselves do and everything else does.
Mhm.
I would say yes.
Okay. What makes you
But
think that this
I
being
I thought
exists? Oh, yeah, go for it.
you well, what is God to you? I mean, because when you use the word God, because you said
Mm.
God isn't real, and when you say God, now we have to reference what we've been taught or told or believe based upon somebody telling us that. So when you say God doesn't exist, that means you are saying based upon what you told what God is. So who
Yeah.
is God to you then if it's not real? Yeah.
The claim that I'm making is that there isn't a mind that is like the ultimate foundation of reality.
Okay, so there isn't a mind.
That is the ultimate foundation of reality.
Can you break that down even simpler?
Yeah, so what an ultimate foundation of reality means is that there's nothing that causes it, and everything is causally connected back to it. That if you went through like the chain of causes, it would eventually end up at God. And the same thing is true for grounding. That if you go through all the things like what is grounded in what, eventually you're going to end up back at this thing. So if you have those characteristics, you know, you're not caused, you're not grounded in anything further, and everything is grounded in you and caused by you. That would be an ultimate thing.
So do you believe in the Big Bang theory
Yep.
and everything started from a bang?
No. No, I have no reason to think that the Big Bang is the start of the universe. Only the rapid expansion of it.
And so I'm trying to gather here, how did it all start and where did it come from and what is it?
I don't think that the universe had a start. I think it always existed.
It always existed.
Yeah.
It always existed. Okay. So, and I think that maybe that I'm in line with you on that because I think that existence is what we would say, not what we, what I perceive as being the ultimate life source, the power that is the existence of life is what they would say God is.
But you think God is a mind. I don't have a reason to think that existence itself has a mind.
Well, I mean, why would we narrow it down to just a mind?
Because
a
that's what
mind
God
is what?
means.
According to who?
According to the
who
way
came
that
up
the
with
word is used. You know, words
So
have
man
meaning,
created-
unfortunately. And
Right.
I'm not like super interested in like some like postmodernist project of, you know, words having no meaning. You know.
So man created the word God then? you're
Yes,
saying?
correct.
You disagree with what man has created that word to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you 100%. And I think that for where I stand, and because, because you initially asked me what religion I was, and I, 35 years ago, I was in a religion, and I come to realize that it's nothing more than man who has created this idea of a religion to control and to, beat over people's heads, what they believe to be true. And I walked away from it.
Do
And
we
I've
actually
gathered
disagree on anything?
Excuse me?
Do we actually disagree on anything?
I don't know. I haven't had a chance really to even listen to your whole spiel of this. I just came in and saw God isn't real.
Mm-hmm.
And so before I even get into debating against if it's real or not, I'm trying to understand what is God to you, because yes, man has.
Okay, I'm moving on to the next one. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with friends, doing all that good stuff. Hey, how's it going? How old are you?
Yeah, I'm 25.
Yep, and what religion?
Yeah, I'm a Christian.
Okay, what makes you think God exists?
I have an argument for God. I'm happy to present it. I just wanted to hear your argument against God being timeless, or how it's impossible for God to be timeless.
Okay, sure. Do you hold to A theory or B theory?
Neither. I hold a substantival account, so it'd be a C theory on my view.
Okay. Well, what I'm
Can you just
asking is, do you
explain
think
further,
that
what C theory is? Real
which part of past, present, and future of those categories, which ones do you think
quick?
are
It's gonna
actual?
be a dodge. Can you explain what C theory is? Go ahead.
C theory, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't that refer to Wouldn't that? I mean, that must refer to the
Absolutely
idea that
stomached right now. You're stomached.
that must,
You
because
answer in a
what
linear
A theory
fashion.
refers
Like,
to is
slow.
the idea that A properties are grounded in B relations, and B theory is the idea that or sorry, that one was B theory, and then A theory is the idea that B relations are grounded in A properties. So it must hold that they're like mutually, like any C theory would need to hold that they're mutually dependent, A
Yeah,
properties
you're
and B
confused.
relations.
So yeah, obviously, like McTaggart doesn't want to give that account, right? Because he holds that like time isn't real. So you're just like terribly confused in the conversation. You look really low IQ right now.
You don't think that that's
But I
what it
just want to
means?
flag that like your argument doesn't
Nobody's
go
talking
through,
about McTaggart.
since God, on my view, is going to be temporal, right? So your question is irrelevant, since on my view, God is going to be like temporal.
Then why did you
so
even
he's
ask for the
source of
argument
moments in
against
time.
God being
So
timeless?
your argument doesn't go through, right? Because if
Okay,
God is temporal,
it sounds
unless
like
you
your
have more
mom didn't come
abductive
through to teach
evidence.
you to be like a
Yeah, I
good
don't know why
functioning
you're like
member of
schizo that way.
society.
So the point is, we're gonna have more
Do you think
abductive
telling
evidence
you
in favor
that
of my
you
account
come
of
off like
God,
really
and
unhinged
your
as schizo
argument is just gonna
rambling?
lack
Do
theoretical
you think that
virtue?
if
Well,
people
there's no
had to
normative force
ascribe to
behind
one of
your
us that
argument.
one of us is schizo
Now he's
rambling, do you
just
really think
pivoting
that
to
they'd come
meta,
away with the
right?
impression that the
Can't
one who's
engage in a
schizo
linear
rambling is
fashion.
me?
He's just pivoting to meta and banging his
Whoa,
chest because he's a
he's
small
literally
bullet.
uncomfortable
Ian,
with
you're
the
face
exact
down,
insult
ass
that he
up right
called
now. I'm
me.
literally giving you back
It's like
shots in the
he was shown a
conversation.
mirror of
I'm
himself. Wait, is
literally
this Clark?
bending Ian over
I
and I'm
fucking
giving him
love
back
Clark,
shots in the
dude.
conversation.
Clark's the
I'm
goat.
shoving my rhetorical dick in Ian's mouth. He looks so
Yeah,
bad.
it really feels like it. I'm sure people are really coming away with that impression. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. He dropped for some reason. But anyway, make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. And with that, we'll go to the very next guest. Hey, how's it going?
Howdy.
Yep, how old are you?
I'm 34.
And what religion?
I was curious if you would talk to a friendly for a chat. I've actually I've been on here before as a guest panelist with my microbiology bound. I had a quick question.
Sure.
So I got on like a call with this Big John Steele.
Mhm.
He was doing the opposite of this yesterday, and I kind of popped on there to give him an argument against God based on the problem of evil, and he thought he had me, and I was just kind of curious because I really didn't think he did, so I was going to share how the conversation went.
Sure.
get your
Well, actually,
thoughts.
wait, could you, I'm sorry, I just have people, I hate to do this to you, but maybe send me a message on Discord. But I just have people in the box, and it's been so hard to find opposition. So only request to join if you are 18 or older, if you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. If I run out of people, then I'd be happy to take your call. But as long as I have people in the box, hey, how's it going?
Hey, I just want to say suicide's never the answer. Everybody in here is loved.
Okay. Only request to join if you're 18 or older, if you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, and you have some sort of argument or evidence for God's existence. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, it's going well. How about you?
Doing well. How old are you?
I'm 21. How about you?
I'm 25. Yeah, what
You're
religion?
25.
Yep, what religion are you?
Well, I'm a Mason, Swedish, right?
Okay, but what religion? What do you believe?
Christian.
Okay. What makes you think that God exists?
Well, what makes me think God exists? The people that died to speak the word of Jesus. That's basically what makes me believe God exists.
Okay. Do you take like the Hindus that died for the word of Ganesh to be evidence for Ganesh's existence?
No,
Oh, why not?
because Hinduism didn't spread worldwide.
Are you kidding?
It didn't.
By worldwide, you mean like there are people in every nation who are that religion? Or what do you mean by spread
No,
worldwide?
by worldwide, I mean it to become one of the main religions that most people follow.
Hinduism is one of the main religions that most people follow.
Not worldwide.
It is.
Like Swedish people, we didn't believe Christianity. but it spread to the degree that we became a Christian nation. Other nation, that the Hinduism didn't do that in other nations.
It spread all throughout India, and it spread all throughout the surrounding nations.
Yeah, in India, of course, because they were close to the people in that religion. But why would Swedish people be Christian? If, like, why? There
Probably
was
had
no-
something to do with conquest of Christians in that region,
Yeah, and why did they conquest?
because they're told explicitly to spread the gospel.
Yeah, well, I think some people were told to spread other gospels too, but didn't have the same effect. And that's basically, that's one reason.
Okay, so apparently Hinduism is like 15% of the world population.
Yeah. And Christianity?
It's, what is it, like 20, 25-ish? Let me look. What percent of the world population is Christianity? Yeah, it's like 30-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Double.
it's like roughly double.
Yeah, so that's
So,
one
but
thing.
also, I would point this out to you that this is like a complete pivot. You have an inconsistent standard of evidence. Your first claim was that the people who died proclaiming that Jesus resurrected, well, that's evidence for Jesus. But then when you have Hindu martyrs who are dying for their Hindu gods, you don't take that to be evidence for Hinduism. That means that it can't possibly be the case that dying, proclaiming that some god is true could be evidence.
Well, did they die with a smile on their face?
Yep.
They did.
Yes, yeah. For example, Shanti Kali
I'm not aware
had
of that.
visions. I know you're not aware, which is why you claimed that Hinduism isn't like a widespread religion. It seems like you probably don't know much about it. So Shanti Kali, for example, is a figure in Hinduism who had experiences and saw and met gods. And then when a group of Christians held him at gunpoint and demanded that he converted to Christianity, he gladly died for the truth of Hinduism.
Okay.
And also, Shanti Kali is actually supported by evidence. We have no evidence that any of those Christians that you're referring to, like any of the apostles, died proclaiming the resurrection.
What do you mean by evidence?
Just something that raises the probability of.
And you calculate that based on
For
like
like priors, like you have a hypothesis, it makes certain predictions, and then we go and investigate to see if that's true. So I guess like what sort of evidence do you think would establish that any of the apostles died for the resurrection? Because you're about under your standard of evidence, if you can't provide good evidence for this claim, you're about to be Hindu.
No, not really.
Why not? If you can't provide any evidence that anybody died for Jesus, but I can provide you evidence of somebody dying for a Hindu god, then in order to remain consistent, you would need to become Hindu.
Yeah, no, this is just off the top of my head. So one of the big reasons also is you look at Christian nations and you look at Hindu nations.
Wait, sorry. Do you have any evidence that establishes that Jesus' followers died for the resurrection?
Yeah. The main spread, the spread of the Bible. That's
okay. And why would it not be the case? Like if instead what happened is that none of them died for the resurrection and people just said that they died for the resurrection, why would the Bible not spread in that case?
If people just said it?
Yeah, but it didn't actually happen.
Yeah, well, the same goes for your Hindu argument about that guy.
Well, this guy was murdered in like 2000.
In 2000, yeah?
Yeah.
So you have video proof of it?
I don't have video proof of it, but I can set you news articles that are claiming that this guy got executed by Christians.
Okay, so the news
you don't think that the news
probable?
You think that the news articles are fucking lying about this guy getting murdered? Why would they lie about that? It's literally from like the 2000s. They're neutral sources.
Yeah, I mean, in Sweden, we actually have people that went down from the apostles. We have like people that has spoke to a person that spoke to a person that spoke to a person. Like we have a line down from the apostles.
Yeah, walk me through it.
So you want to see it? Here, wait.
Yeah. Well, I just want you to tell me like what's the line. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. While we wait for this guy to return. Always takes a second to get ChatGPT fired up. By the way, I don't know if you're aware of this, Lord Aaron official, but if you're off the app, I can't hear you. Got to be on the app.
Oh, I'm on the app. I'm not on the app. Okay.
Yeah, you weren't on the app.
Wait, fuck. Yeah, so I have a list from my friend who speaks to this guy. So it's not off. It's not off ChatGPT. I don't base my shit around ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see. It's
Bars. Damn, for real?
Wait here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Okay, wait. I have to pull this shit up on my computer then. Wait. Let's see. Did you hear that it's a list of from Constantinople?
From Constantinople?
Yeah.
Sure, go for it.
I'm hearing myself. Wait. List of enumical patriarchs, Constantinople. So it goes. Let's see here. This is a long ass list, but yeah. It goes Saint Andrew the Apostle, Saint Stachys the Apostle, Saint Onesimus.
Wait, sorry, I don't know if you're aware of
Polycarpus
this. So this actually starts out with Saint Alexander, who apparently lived in, the 300s. So that's like 300 years after Jesus. So you're gonna need something that connects Saint Alexander.
I'm gonna need something that connects Saint Alexander.
Yeah.
This is year 38 though. Saint Andrew the Apostle.
Saint Andrew the Apostle. I'm looking at like the.
This
Oh,
is
I
year
see.
38.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Bishops of Byzantine. Okay, Andrew the
then
Apostle.
Then it goes all the way down to this guy. Let's see. Goes all the way down to. Here, Demetrius 1, who's the Bartholomew 1. So that's basically.
So wait, walk me through the chain.
line.
Wait, so who did Jesus know?
Jesus knew Saint Andrew the Apostle, who knew Saint Stachys the Apostle. This is This is like 100 people. So I could read you it, but I could I send you it? No, probably not. But yeah, this is a straight line down from someone that knew Jesus.
And how do we know that Saint Andrew knew Jesus?
Because of, let's see, what was the reason? Yeah, because he like not knighted, but he said which people could was around him that could
where
like Constantinople, right? He said that Constantinople could tell people what Jesus said.
Mm-hmm.
He said Constantinople was a pure source, and Constantinople said Saint Andrew was a pure source.
Oh, sure. And I guess like where can I read his works?
Saint Andrew the Apostle, or this,
yeah, Saint Andrew the Apostle. Like where can I read his testimony?
Let's see. I'm not sure of that. actually. But yeah, I do believe this more.
Okay.
Than,
Well, then if you
news
can't
sources.
establish that, well,
Just-
then it's zero evidence at all. You would need to establish some actual link between, Andrew and
Can
Jesus,
okay, so
and
can
like
you
some sort of
establish-
like claim from Andrew claiming that the resurrection happened.
Okay, and can you establish that, like, anyone said this newspaper is reliable?
Well, you think the newspaper is just lying?
Well, can you establish someone that said, like, someone of more power that said this newspaper is reliable?
Yeah, I could. We could look into the newspaper if you'd like. The BBC.
The BBC?
You think the BBC is just fucking lying? You think they're just making
Yeah.
up facts
Yeah,
over
yeah.
there at the BBC, just
Yeah.
making up stories?
Actually, I do. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I think you're a bit delusional if you think that the BBC is literally manufacturing 100% fake stories.
No, I don't think that. I do think they're making up shit, but I don't think they're manufacturing 100%. But I would not trust the BBC. No, I would not read the BBC for a source of information.
Okay, yeah. But what you do trust is Bartholomew, who knew Demetrius, who knew Athenagoras, who knew Maximus, who knew Benjamin, who knew, and then like a list of like, you trust like the game of telephone played across like 200 guys that stretches back to Andrew, who then knows Jesus with no evidence of him knowing Jesus or proclaiming a resurrection.
Yeah, because they kind of gotta be knighted, not knighted, but they gotta be.
So then you agree that your worldview has like zero evidence for it?
No, I don't agree.
Okay.
Also, you can look if you look at Christian.
Wait, and
nations,
sorry, wait.
and look at Hindu nations.
You
Can
do
go
take
into
for
this?
example, that the example I've given you is not evidence. That despite the fact that it's proclaimed by the BBC that this guy was killed by Christians, you reject that.
I mean, yeah, it's not fully there. No.
Sure, and then to be consistent, you would also have to say that yours isn't evidence either. So then I
it's not
take a step
fully
back
there.
and I say, well, I guess Christianity is false and Hinduism is false. So you're
No, 'cause
operating
I have
under
a-
my
I
standard
have
of evidence when it comes to Hinduism, but then you flip to a charitable standard of evidence when you start evaluating Christianity. It's because you have a double standard.
No,
Absolutely.
because I said in the beginning, this is one reason. You can also look, if I have enough reasons to believe something, I will believe it. Even if none of them on their own prove it. If I have enough reasons, if everything's pointing to it, but no single point can prove it, then sure, I believe it. So if you look at Christian nations versus Hindu nations, why do Christian nations succeed?
I don't know if you're aware of
much
this.
more?
I'm not Hindu, I'm atheist.
Yeah, but you said...
Yeah, in terms of the standard of evidence that you hold for the resurrection also leads you to the belief that Hinduism is true, or it would if you weren't blatantly holding a double standard.
Yeah, but that proves Christianity to be better than Hinduism. And
Nope.
also, if you look at which
Sorry, wait, but why would
countries
I think that
are
it's better than
grounded
atheism?
Yeah, which countries are grounded atheist?
For
Like
example,
which-
Japan.
Japan, okay.
You know, South
And why,
Korea.
Why is South Korea okay? And
you
why
know,
do Christian
I bet
Christian nations
I wouldn't be
succeed much
surprised
more?
if
Bro is typing.
Oh. Well, apparently, like the country that you live in, it's mostly Christian, but it has like a huge number of atheists relative to other places.
Yeah. It is a very atheist country, yeah.
Yep.
Right now.
It's getting
Is it
more
good?
atheist over time. Well, if you're thinking that it's like a very atheist country, then maybe your country could be a good example.
No, because trends come, but trends also go by.
Wow,
Look- if you
compelling
look at
stuff.
Yeah, if you look at Sweden when it was not Christian but pagan, which you Americans call it, like believing in other gods. If you look at Sweden then versus now, you can see like extremely poor people And then when it became Christian, all of a sudden it kind of bloomed into a normal society. Why is that?
Well, then I could just dismiss your entire argument by saying trends come and trends go, just as you dismissed that point by saying trends come and trends go. So in order to remain consistent, you'd have to say that we actually can't trust any trend.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Then your argument fails because we can't trust any trend. So the trend of Christian nations being good nations, well, trends come and trends go.
Yeah, well, it's a difference between 20 years and like hundreds of years, thousands of years, right?
Well, I don't know if you're aware of this, but for a long, long time, what Christian nations were doing was banning books.
Yeah. Which books?
For example, they were banning like physics by Aristotle because they didn't like the arguments that were made in that book. Maybe I could present you with one of those arguments right now, and we can examine the sort of argument that got banned by your religion. Aristotle makes the argument that the universe must have always existed because when we have time, we have change, and when we have change, we have time. So if we had some state of reality without time, it would need to change into a state of reality with time, but that can't happen because change requires time, which means that time itself must have always existed. You can see why they banned this argument. You know, it's devastating towards their position. So which premise of that would you reject?
How is that devastating?
Because you're not going to be able to reject a premise, and we will have disproven God just now.
By time existing always?
Yeah, that means God didn't create it.
Yeah, well, what do you mean by always?
With no beginning.
Okay, isn't that in the like premise of time?
No, because you think God exists with no beginning.
Time. You're talking about time. Always.
Do you think God exists with beginning or without beginning?
If God exists without beginning.
Oh, well, so you're talking about time. So you just said God's in time, which means he didn't create it. Thanks.
No, he's not in time.
Oh, shit. So saying without beginning doesn't imply time.
Without beginning,
now you're contradicting yourself.
End. Without beginning and without end.
Yeah, you're contradicting yourself. Earlier you said without beginning implies time.
No, without beginning, without end, is not in time.
So you didn't say earlier that saying without beginning implies time?
Without beginning implies time. Yeah, you're talking in the relatives of time, right? You're talking in like time space.
I'm saying that there is no beginning to time. That's the claim.
So you're saying time precedes... No, you can't say that because time is a beginning and an end.
Nope. Which premise of the argument do you reject? That if there premise one is that if time comes into existence, then there's going to be a state of reality without time that changes into a state of reality with time. And then premise two is that a state of reality without time doesn't change.
No, I'm saying like even talking about time is measuring the beginning and end.
Nope.
So yeah, if you want to go
That's not true.
further, if you want to go further, like it measures time. God is beyond time. That's what I'm talking about. It has no beginning, it has no end because it's beyond time.
Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to just put the premises on screen and then you're going to tell me which one you reject. So I got...
Do you believe in the Big Bang Theory,
Premise
by the way?
one, if time begins to exist, then a timeless state changes into a timed state. Premise two, a timeless state does not change. Thus, time did not begin to exist. Which premise of this would you reject?
Let's see. I think I'm rejecting your. You think of time as a physical object. You think of it as if it's beginning to exist, like a physical object begins to exist.
It doesn't make any of those claims.
But, would you agree time is a measurement?
Sure.
Okay, so what are we measuring?
You might want to say that time is a measurement of change. So if time exists, then change exists, and if change exists, then time exists.
A measurement of change.
Yeah.
So
which premise do you reject?
No, so on that basis, a measurement of change, if something changes in 1 hour from a state to a state, and another thing changes.
Yeah, we're never going to get the
30 minutes.
premise. Which premise do you reject?
No, you think I'm rejecting one of these premises.
Do you accept both of them, or?
You think that's going to lead to a point? That's the
Yes,
problem here.
it leads to the point that time did not begin to exist. If you accept both of them, then it leads to the conclusion that time did not begin to exist.
Yeah, well, that's basically. But then you can also take like measurement of length.
Which premise do you
can say-
reject?
well, then you could say length in itself, you can measure.
You can
from
see why
0
the church banned this
centimeters to
argument.
1.
You know, this guy is completely stumped by it. Which premise do you reject?
You can say you can say the same of length.
Which
You can say that length basically is
which
God.
premise do you
which
reject?
is-
Do you reject premise 1 or premise 2?
Well, there's 1, 2, and C.
Yeah, that's the
First of
conclusion.
all-
C is the conclusion.
Okay, so time. Let's see. Time did begin to exist.
Oh, so then do you reject premise 1 or premise 2?
Time began to exist when people started measuring time. That's when it began to exist.
Oh, I'm
Would
not
you
sure I agree
disagree?
with that. Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Why?
Because
Why?
there was time before people existed.
And if time is a measurement, then how would time exist before people started measuring it?
So a thing that could be measured can exist before you actually start measuring things.
So it's not a measurement; it's a thing that could be measured.
You could
You're
describe
saying.
time as being like a measurement of change, where measurement is not referring to like specifically something that people are going out there and doing, but rather just like some quantity of the thing. But
And you're
wait,
saying
sorry,
those two
are you done
different?
dodging? Do you have like a premise that you reject?
No, wait. You're saying those two are different? I think that.
I'm so sorry. Do you reject premise 1 or premise 2?
No, wait.
I mean, if I were
quantity-
the Catholic Church and these were the arguments that I was going up against, I'd probably ban this argument too. Can't blame them.
That's funny. No, but a quantity of something, not a thing, but just a quantity, is a measurement. Right?
Okay.
That is a measurement. So it's
Okay.
just a measurement. And if it's just a measurement, then it has to start existing when people start measuring it.
That's not true. I'm
Like-
just referring to like the quantity of things. So there was a quantity of things that existed prior to humans existing, you know?
A quantity of things, yeah, but yeah, of course, but numbers didn't exist before humans did.
What's the
I don't
argument for
believe
that?
either.
Okay, now that you got like, I don't know, now that you've been reduced to like absolute absurdity on this argument, you literally can't figure out which premise to reject. I guess we'll
No, 'cause you're-
pivot away.
Because the thing is, like, I do disagree with the argument. The
Which
argument
premise?
that I do, the premise is
Do you
that
reject premise 1 or
time-
premise 2? You got to reject either
Yeah,
premise 1 or
no.
premise 2. So which one is it? If you agree
I
that
can
if time
reject the
begins to
time-
exist, then a timeless state changes into a timed state, and you agree that a timeless state does not change, then you must agree that it's impossible for time to begin.
No, I disagree that time as a concept and by definition they never began to exist. That I do reject.
Okay.
That's,
I'm talking about time itself. I'm not talking about time as a concept.
Well, that is the thing. If you're talking about numbers are a concept. That's like, you don't, if you have 2 apples in nature, they're just apples. They're not 2 apples.
Okay.
They are just apples.
Are you
And
are you capable
humans
of
do
rejecting a
measure them.
premise, or is it just going to be more dodges?
Well, I could put up fucking.
Okay, it sounds like it's just going to be more dodges, so I guess I'm going to move on to the next guest. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. It's really funny how they can't even come up with their own original insults. That's true. 072, thanks so much for the super chat. Have an awesome and fantastic day. Yep, I will. The Real Pac-Man 1, thanks so much for the super chat. So glad I found you. Keep cooking. Smoke Loma, thanks so much for the super chat. Appreciate you. Phantom Ranger, thanks so much for the super chat. Is there a good response to the time argument? I don't know. I'm not sure. It operates off of like really uncontroversial assumptions about time and like really uncontroversial assumptions about things beginning to exist. I suppose what you could say, maybe you could take the B theory of time and just hold like the timeline always existed. That way you would have like a beginning, but then like that specific time slice didn't actually begin to exist. Like there's never a state of affairs without it. Hey, thanks so much for the super chat. To be fair, the church banned some of Aquinas' work too. That's true. But anyway, let me check. Let me check.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going? How old are you?
Good. How are you doing? I'm 29.
Yep. And what religion?
I believe in God.
Sure.
I don't really have a religion.
Okay. What makes you think that God exists?
What makes me think that is because it's a belief that I hold, correct? So a belief doesn't have to be based on opinions or facts, because facts are opinions in this true state. If you realize that facts are formulated on a theory that is an opinion by someone that also has been stated and rearranged, and time is forever changing, and so is, if you look at this, things are ever changing, right? History, religion, and also science, because everything is evolving, correct?
Wow. Those certainly were like a combination of words together. Do you think that your belief in God is justified?
Justified?
Yeah, like do you have like a reason to think that God exists, or does it just like make you happy to?
It just makes me happy, and it makes me have a feeling because it's unconditional love.
Okay.
He does not judge it. So this is what I say.
That's why I don't believe that kids have cancer. You know, if kids had cancer, that would make me really sad. So I just believe that there is no kid with cancer.
Well, see, there's a thing about that. When people formulate those things, right? It's because something has gone in their brain, a disease or whatever you want to call it, that can be cured by certain medicines.
Oh,
they block
no,
this out.
no. I don't believe that any of that stuff's real, because it would make me happier to not believe that.
Okay, that's fine. You don't have to believe in it. But what you believe in yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, so what did you formulate that belief on?
The fact that I'm having an experience.
Okay, so if you believe in yourself, I believe in myself, and I believe that there is a God because I do not see that, right? Because I don't see that doesn't mean I have to not believe it. So opening your mind up, because when you were a kid, I bet you had an imagination, right?
Mm-hmm.
You believed in things that you couldn't see, correct?
Yeah. Then I gave up the imaginary friends.
But listen.
Do you still have your imagination? Is that why you believe in God?
I've always had an imagination.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, when you're a kid, have you ever sat and like laid down and been in a state where you're like laying in the snow and you just don't feel time? You just feel this overwhelming essence of love?
No?
So have you ever felt love?
Yeah.
Now, how did it feel to you? Was it overwhelming?
Felt good. Felt cool.
So it was so what do you believe? Do you think love is conditional or unconditional?
Probably depends on the love, you know.
It depends on the intention and the person behind it.
My love for a lot of a realization that I'm coming to as of late is that I'm a very conditional lover. You know, if one of my friends from high school was still getting up to like high school tier nonsense, you know, I'd probably not really want to maintain the friendship with them.
So the thing is, I can see in yourself, okay? Now look, I can see it in your eyes. You've been hurt by people, and it could be a religious factor too. People
No, I
have
don't
hurt
believe
you.
that. It makes me sad to believe that, so I don't
I
believe
know,
that.
but I'm just saying, people that have hurt you, it could have been. What did you believe when you were a kid? Did you have an upbringing in the church?
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason you started questioning your faith is because somebody that said that God was real hurt you.
No, it's somebody who said God wasn't real provided an argument for it, and I was like, oh, I guess that makes sense.
What's the argument?
Do you think God can make a rock that's so heavy that he can't lift it?
I'm pretty sure he can make a rock and still lift it with his powers that he has, because he healed the sick, lame, and everything else, correct?
So you do think that he has the power to make the rock that's so heavy that he can't lift it, and then he has the power to lift the rock that's so heavy that he can't lift it?
So basically, the rock, right? If you're believing in God, he can do all things possible. Just like you can do anything possible. We were all created in likeness and image. I can see when you look down to the side, it's because you're thinking, and it's also, you're thinking about, man, that I did get hurt. That did happen to me.
That's exactly what I'm reading.
But
Or I'm sorry,
also,
thinking about.
But you are beautiful, and you have to stay true to yourself. Don't let anybody tell you anything about anything else. You are beautiful.
Okay.
You are amazing.
I won't let anyone tell me anything about anything else. It's time to stop letting people tell me more things. Reverend Nate, thanks so much for the super chat. Word salad caller right after the Swedish pisser. Reverend Nate, don't tell me things. Anyway, if you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. I also ask that you have some sort of argument or evidence for God's existence. Hello, how's it going?
Hello?
Yep. How old are you?
Oh, you are kidding me. I'm up here?
Yes, you are. Welcome. Welcome, welcome.
Hello, I'm Ashley. I'm 40.
Hey, nice to meet you. What religion are you?
Nice to meet you too. I believe in God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. It's hard to say Christian these days. I just found out today that means like 5 different things.
True. Yeah, all those denominations it gets messy, it gets confusing. Yeah, but what makes you think that God exists?
I mean, for me, I would have to say the feeling of love would be proof that God exists. Like, I mean, have you ever been in love before?
Yes. Yeah, currently in love. But I think that evolution perfectly explains why we feel this way. You know, this feeling of closeness is really good for things like survival and reproduction, especially because the gestation period for humans, or like, I don't know, like the development of a human to like adulthood is so long. I mean, it just makes sense that we're going to be social creatures, and love is a really important thing for that.
I mean, but like, why would that be necessary? Why would we just be created and love be involved? All of that, because it's like unexplainable. Like, why would all of that even be a part of our life if it wasn't like something bigger than us?
Because it's good for passing your genes on, that you take care of the child that takes, like, I don't know, a good long while to fully develop. You know, your child takes, I don't know, like 20 years to become like a full adult. And that's like a big commitment. You know, if it makes it easier to make that commitment, if you just love your child and love your partner. And, you know, humans live and die by our social structures, and our social structures just go a lot better if you love all the people in the social structure.
I mean, well,
So it's
Honestly,
good
I
for
mean,
survival and
for me,
reproduction. You know, when you think about why humans are the way that they are, it's every factor of this is explained by evolution. You know, we are the way we are because it's good for survival and reproduction. We have the cognitive biases that we do because it's good for survival and reproduction.
there's no way possible that I'm just praying to an imaginary friend. There's no way possible. It's no way possible because I played with Barbies when I was a kid. I created all kinds of, all kinds of things. Like when I'm praying, like it's something deeper than just me just picking up and saying, "Oh, yo, I believe in this."
Do you
There's
think
no
it's
way possible.
do you think it's possible that the Muslims are praying to an imaginary friend?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I have my sister's actually Muslim.
Okay. So I guess like why do you think that their belief is like so silly that it couldn't possibly be true? But then your belief is
Because,
like way
well,
it's like way different than that.
well, I'm not. First of all, let's not put any words in my mouth. I just said no. What I'm saying is my point. What I'm saying with that is a lot of people are scared to go to hell. They're scared of hell. It ain't got
True.
nothing to do with God. Somebody told them about hell a long time ago, and they got so scared of hell, they'll believe in anything. It's not even about, it's so much more about sin and hell and doing right and being perfect. It's not even about like a personal relationship with like a higher power.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of the problem with making such insane threats that Jesus makes against you. When Jesus tells you you'll burn forever, that's why that's such a crazy threat, is because it actually removes the ability for you to make a rational, informed decision about whether or not you're going to enter into this relationship with him. He takes away your ability to give meaningful consent.
But you can say that about Muslims. You can say that about their religions too.
I
Muslim
would.
has hell too. Muslim has hell too. So
I would, yeah.
So why is it the same devil in the same hell but different gods? Have you thought? What's the answer to that?
I don't know if they do think that it's the same.
No, I'm saying you have I'm saying you have these religions that all agree. I've never heard them say 2 and 3 different devils. It's always the same devil.
I guess I don't really have well, first of all, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Islam actually branches off of Christianity. They accept Jesus as a prophet, for example. Probably the reason why it has similar features to Christianity is because it comes from the same tradition as Christianity.
Okay, well, as far as the answer to, but the thing is, the people all the way on the other side of the world, they were talking about other gods as well. So, like, do you believe in a spiritual realm, or you just think it's?
I don't have any evidence for that.
You don't think it's anything?
I don't have any evidence like against spiritual stuff, but I don't have any evidence for it either. So.
Okay. Well, I guess if we all had evidence for it, there would not be a channel, right?
Yeah, well, that's true. God is staying hidden such that I can continue debating people about God's existence. That's the greater good.
But it's more so about seeking and finding.
But what about all the people who seek but don't find?
Like if you just don't believe, then you just don't believe. You wouldn't have if you're like completely against something, you have no desire to look into it.
But I do look into it. I look into it all the time. That's why I read so many Christian philosophers, people like Josh Rasmussen, Alexander Proust, Ryan Mullins. They all make really interesting arguments towards the existence of a God.
Have you talked to Jesus though?
Have I talked to?
Have you ever prayed?
Yeah, I've prayed. I just didn't get any response.
Okay, so you were expecting a human response?
I was expecting like an intelligible response. Presumably, Jesus is all-knowing. He knows what response I'm going to recognize as a response. So he knows that whatever response that he was giving to me is one that I wouldn't be able to interpret as a response.
Have you heard of a hardened heart? You're not going to read anything with a heart of stone. You have to be able to allow for it to turn into flesh. Have you heard of that?
Sure. I don't think that I have a hardened heart. Otherwise, it's weird that I engage so much with the arguments that Christians give.
No, a hardened heart when it comes to believing in God, believing in one God.
Yeah. I'm totally open to God's existing. I just have no evidence.
like I said, when I think of sympathy, empathy, having compassion for somebody, I won't use people like, seeing a cat getting tortured or something like that. Wouldn't that, like, that feeling that you get when you're like, will we just say, oh, that's just a feeling? I mean, like that would
Like
have
sympathy
to
and
have came
empathy,
from
like,
something.
well, I mean, those
Yeah,
those are feelings,
sympathy and
and
empathy,
evolution explains them.
But I'm
These
just
are
saying
really
though,
good things for social creatures, which is why
why would
actually
we?
there's a lot of other animals that also feel sympathy and empathy. Dogs feel sympathy and empathy. Elephants feel sympathy and empathy. One
But
thing that
God
you'll
is
notice if you
love.
go through all of the animals that feel sympathy and empathy, they're all social animals. If you
I
go
don't
look
think.
at
I
like a
don't think.
crab, you can
How
see
do
like
we
a
know what
crab
an
like
animal
chowing down
feels?
on its own children.
How do we
There's no
know what an
sympathy or
animal
empathy in
feels,
that crab.
Ian? Ian, how do we know what an animal feels? I'm sorry. Did I miss
Because
something?
specifically the thing that allows for sympathy and empathy are these things called mirror neurons, and Crabbo over there doesn't have them.
Okay. Okay. Well, again, like I said, to me, in my opinion, like if we were just, you said you're an atheist, I would hate to like say I know what. I just think atheists don't believe in a God at all. They just think like Big Bang Theory type thing.
I mean, you could be an atheist and hold like weird, wacky beliefs. But yeah, I mean, I think the Big Bang Theory is true.
I mean, so my thing is, why would it be so much detail? Why would that be necessary? Like, I mean, why would all of that be necessary if the whole point is just to, reproduce? And I mean, you don't think the Big Bang could have, deleted feelings, emotions, and we could have just been like robotic creatures?
The Big Bang isn't like a sentient thing.
I mean, I get it, but I'm just saying, like that. Why did that input this love in our hearts?
Oh,
Like
it's because
imagination. Why would all
living
that happen?
creatures are a good output, or like they're like a good repository for entropy. That human beings accelerate a lot of like entropic processes. We lead to more disorder over time, way faster too. So, all the things in the universe, or a lot of them in the current state, are trending towards disorder, and humans are just kind of an expression of that. We make things disorderly way quicker.
I totally understand. I mean, like I said, if there was actually evidence other than someone telling you their personal experience, then I don't think there would be atheists. If there was something, written down smart, like if y'all had that science part, then there wouldn't even be an argument. So it's just like, again, I truly believe that God is love, and love is God. So outside of that, I mean, y'all can have it. I'm definitely not going to keep talking. And,
Why wouldn't God? I mean, why wouldn't God
y'all
give
can
us
have
more
it.
better evidence?
I'm sorry.
Why wouldn't God give us more better evidence?
I mean, I think he's giving you total. I mean, just birth in itself. I mean, all of these different things that you can't explain. Have you read the Bible? You said
I
you
have read
a
the
whole lot of
Bible. Wait,
books.
but okay, let's talk about birth. Why would it be the case that 20% of pregnancies end in miscarriages?
Well, the Bible tells you that every woman won't conceive. Now, I don't have any children myself.
Okay,
The Bible tells you every woman will not conceive.
sure, but
There
you're
will be
saying God
birth.
exists because of like birth. But
No,
then,
no. That's not what I was saying. I didn't say God is just because of birth. I actually had like tapped into, in my mind, I was thinking about the book of Job, how when Job is explaining like all these things that man can't explain, and I just used that small little phrase, and then I just thought to ask, well, have you actually read the Bible? Like,
I have, yeah. Do you think
New
do you think
Testament,
what
Old
happened to
Testament?
Job was just? Do you think Job deserved to have those things happen to him?
In life, it's good, bad, and ugly.
But did Job deserve to have those things happen to him?
None of us deserve bad things. No.
But
We
Job
don't deserve good
specifically,
things
did
either, do
Job
we?
specifically deserve?
No, absolutely not.
Okay,
None of us
sure.
do. We
So
didn't
then
bite the apple.
God entered into a
We didn't
bet.
bite the apple.
God permitted Satan to do an injustice against Job.
No, he gave free will, and they took the
No,
free
he
will,
says,
which is something
Satan,
different.
you can totally go and do this. It's more than
Oh, okay.
just
You're talking
giving
about the
Satan the free
conversation.
will
You're
to
talking
do
about
it. In
because
Job
he was trying
1,
to test
he
Job's
tells
faith.
Satan directly, you can go
That's
do
how you
this.
test.
Here's the one and only restriction. Don't.
Yes, he
He's
was.
not saying
He
like you
thinks
lack the free will to kill Job. He's saying that you are allowed to go torment Job, but you're not allowed to go and kill Job.
Job challenged him. He said, "Hey, I bet you if I do all of this, then he will deny me." Did he not say that? So it was
Wait,
a
sorry.
challenge.
Job said what?
Not Job, the devil.
Oh,
Said
sure.
he would. I will. So again, it was a challenge. But
Yeah, I mean,
that's what free
just
will
because it's a
is. We have a
challenge doesn't make
choice.
it like any less unjust. If you came to me and said,
but you gotta
if you
understand.
let me like kidnap and like beat your child, I bet I could get your child to confess that they actually don't love you at all. My response to that wouldn't be, no, my child would continue to say that you love me or that they love me. You can totally go and kidnap and beat my child. I'd say, get the fuck away from me, you sicko.
But it's more to it
But
than
that's
that.
not
Like,
what God said.
you're like
And
living
if I
out
did
of-
allow you to
but
do that
that's
to my
if-
child, it would be like a
if you
huge
are-
injustice.
If we will be reading that verse in that story right now, come on.
Yeah, let's pull it up. Yeah, absolutely.
If not, pull it up then and read it from the whole beginning.
Yep, let's do it.
Make sure it's a translation that we all can understand.
Yep, the NRSVUE, the best translation.
Okay, so you do know that.
Absolutely. There was once a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job. That man was blameless and upright, one who feared God and turned away from evil. There were born to him 7 sons and 3 daughters. He had 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, 500 donkeys, and very many servants. So that this man was the greatest of all the people of the East. His sons used to go and hold feasts in one another's houses in turn, and they would send and invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. And when the feast days had run their course, Job would send and sanctify them, and he would rise early in the morning and offer burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, it may be that my children have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. This is what Job always did. Attack on Job's character. One day the heavenly beings came to present themselves before the Lord, and the accuser also came among them. The Lord said to the accuser, where have you come from? The accuser answered the Lord, from going to and fro on the earth and from walking up and down on it. A real walker over here. The Lord said to the accuser, have you considered my servant Job? There is no one like him on the earth, a blameless and upright man who fears God and turns away from evil. Then the accuser answered the Lord, does Job fear God for nothing? Have you not put a fence around him and his house and all that he has on every side? You have blessed the work of his hands, and his possessions have increased in the land. But stretch out the what?
Could you stop right there?
Yeah.
So right there, like that what you just read, it said okay, Satan is the accuser, which is the accuser. So he's like accusing God. He's literally like testing God right here. And he's saying, hey, he's only doing all of that because you protected him. So
that's very interesting that you stopped me right there. How about we finish the verses?
Okay, I'm just making
have you
sure
not put a fence around him and his house and all that he has on every side? You have blessed the work of his hands, and his possessions have increased in the land. But stretch out your hand now and touch all that he has, and he will curse you to your face. The Lord said to the accuser, very well. All that he has is in your power, only do not stretch your hand out against him. So the accuser went out from the presence of the Lord. God is literally saying, go and do this. Satan's like, I'm going to torture your guy. Can I please torture your guy? And God's like, sure. Is that just? Was that a just thing for God to do?
Absolutely.
It was just for God to say, yeah, you can totally go and torture my guy.
With the context, like if you had a starter from like day one of the Bible and knew like what's going on right here, absolutely, because you got to remember, sin, when you open up the Pandora's box of sin, there is nothing you can do about that. And so Jesus
could God have said, no, don't do that?
Huh?
Could God have said, no, don't do that? Like he said, no, don't stretch out your hand against him?
But that wasn't the point. He was trying to prove that it was in Job's heart and not something he was just doing.
Prove to who?
God gave him all of this and God gave him all that.
Prove to who? Prove to who?
But hold up.
Prove to who? Who is God trying to prove something to?
God, the accuser came to God.
Why does God give a fuck what the accuser has to say?
No.
Why is she allowing Satan to like browbeat him into allowing him to like torture Job? Why is God folding?
No. I think you missed the point on that. Come on, Ian. You're not gonna keep it real and say you don't see what's going on here?
I see. Yeah, just the inverse of my claim. Compelling.
Okay, but can you get to the
Why
point
wouldn't God say no, don't do that? God had no problem saying no, don't kill him. Why wouldn't God say no, don't bother him?
Because the devil already got that power to do that. The devil is the prince of the air.
Does the devil not have the power to kill him?
No, he doesn't.
Oh, but the devil did have the power to kill his entire
To
family.
kill nobody. The devil doesn't have the power to kill
But he
anybody.
killed his entire family.
Who?
The devil. You haven't read the book of
The devil
Job.
did not kill Job's family.
Wait, was it God who killed the family?
Absolutely not.
Okay, who killed Job's family?
Ian, keep reading then.
I think you're a bit confused about the book of Job. Do you not know that
like for you
it
to keep
includes like
reading.
the killing of Job's entire family?
Can you keep reading? It'll tell you.
Sure. One day, when his sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in the eldest brother's house, a messenger came to Job and said, "The oxen were plowing and the donkeys were feeding beside them, and the Sabeans fell on them and carried them off and killed the servants with the edge of the sword. I alone have escaped to tell you." While he was still speaking, another came and said, "The fire of God fell from heaven and burned up the sheep and the servants and consumed them. I alone have escaped to tell you." While he formed 3 columns, made a raid on camels and carried them off and killed the servants with the edge of the sword. I alone have escaped to tell you. While he was still speaking, another came and said, "Your sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in the eldest brother's house, and suddenly a great wind came across the desert, struck the 4 corners of the house, and it fell on the young people, and they are dead. I alone have escaped to tell you." Who's responsible for the wind?
Let me help you. Let me say this real quick.
Who's responsible for the
Let me
wind?
say this real quick.
Who did that?
Let me say this real quick.
Because it's not Satan. He doesn't have the power, and it's not God. God wouldn't kill innocent people.
The whole world wasn't even saved yet, though. You gotta
Who did
look
it?
at the entire context.
Who's
Ian.
responsible
I'm
for that?
sorry. The man when he bit the damn apple.
Were they doing the fucking wind dance down there? Were they hitting like one of these?
Adam, baby, Adam. It's Adam's fault. That's
Who decided that? Oh, so you're saying that his entire family dying has nothing to do with the bet he made with Satan? That there is no connection between God's bet with Satan and the wind blowing and crushing the children? No connection.
That's okay. The world was under the law back then. Won't nobody getting
Is that
saved
correct?
No.
Okay, so there is a connection between. So Satan did cause the wind.
I mean, no. Please don't try to catch me up on my words. Sorry, because my husband.
I'm trying to get clear on this. Did Satan cause the wind or did
focus.
Satan not cause the wind? I'm really uncalm. In fact, I'm quite angry trying to figure out if Satan caused the wind or not.
God blesses people, right? When he said, "Take off your
Just
hedge
a total
of protections,"
non-answer.
angels protect his people, right? So when you pray every day, like when I pray, I'm praying to God that he protects me from whatever. Okay, according to the conversation that the devil had, him and God, it clearly said, "Hey, take off your protection." That means, hey, don't protect him. I'm about to get him. So it
doesn't say that. It says very well, all that he has is in your power.
Okay, well, Ian.
Who does the wind?
The spiritual realm, the natural realm. You're going to like from two
Who
different.
caused the wind that killed?
God didn't stop it.
But who caused it?
Mother Nature.
You don't think Satan caused it? I thought all that Job had was in Satan's power.
Not it, but this is my thing though. When the Pandora's box of sin opened up all the way when Adam bit the tree and all that, all the apple, all that, you got to understand something. Sin was upon the earth. These people were like under the law and all of that kind of stuff like that. It's like we're being logical and like trying to just ask logical answers when it's like so much context.
Yeah, when in fact the Bible is an illogical book.
Okay, Ian. This is all I'm saying. God is love. So
It doesn't seem like it.
That feeling that you said you felt, that's God. So again,
Prove
you
it.
can't explain to me. You can't
What's
explain
the
to me
argument
why,
that that's God?
the argument to that being God would have to be. I mean, for me, listen, for me to love somebody who didn't hurt me, that's got to be God. That ain't me.
Okay, why? I mean, speak for yourself. I don't love the people that hurt me.
Okay, so like I said, I am speaking for myself, Ian. I'm definitely speaking for myself.
Okay, why would I love the people that hurt me?
I don't have a heart and heart.
Okay,
You must understand. See,
but why would I love people who hurt me?
flesh.
That sounds silly.
My heart is flesh.
Okay.
But that's the thing. If everybody just went out hating everybody that hated them, would we even have a world right now? It's got to be somebody.
I just don't
that's gonna
interact
say,
with the
hey,
people that hate me.
I mean, but come on, Ian. I gotta love my enemies. I'm so sorry.
Why?
Because
Do you love Adolf Hitler?
Right now.
Do you love Adolf Hitler?
Adolf Hitler? Who's that? Say somebody that matches my life. Say somebody that matches my life. I'm sorry. Yeah, say somebody that matches my life. Say somebody else. You don't believe in God. I don't believe in Hitler. What's up? Okay. Again, can you say somebody that fits my lifestyle? Not yours.
Wow, those certainly were words that you could have said.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you?
I mean, okay, so you got that offensive by me saying I don't believe in Adolf Hitler, but you don't think it's offensive
What do you?
to somebody for you to say
I'm
you don't
actually
believe in
mad
God?
curious. Like, what do you mean you don't believe? You don't think he existed?
No, I didn't listen. I just said, can you say somebody that I can relate to?
But do you? Okay, so you only love the enemies of yours that you can relate to?
No, no. I want it. No, to me, I don't. That's a person from history. I don't have any connection to that person. I would like to just. Could you pick somebody like you could have said somebody from the KKK?
Yeah, let's do like David Duke. Do you love David Duke? Or Jeffrey
yes.
Epstein? Do you love Jeffrey Epstein?
Jeffrey Epstein, I wouldn't. If he was burning on fire, I would piss on him to stop the fire.
Okay, but do you love him? Do you love Jeffrey Epstein?
Yes, I love everybody that was made by God. Absolutely.
Ugh, yikes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Guess I'm moving on to the next one. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. What a thing that could be said. 1,000 TikTok Christians versus making actual arguments instead of meaningless bargain jargon. True. Kane Malice, thanks so much for the super chat. Religion is a virus of the mind. Yeah, the woke mind virus. Phantom Ranger Earth, thanks so much for the super chat. Blank, because you asked us not to tell you things. Don't tell me what I told you. Kane, thanks so much for the super chat. Rip Brendan, or Nicholas Brendan. Xander from Buffy. Before my time, unfortunately. Lord Aaron, thanks so much for the super chat. If you let me up again, I'm open to see if I'm wrong. Sorry, I talked to you for like 30 minutes. Imagine allowing the torture of your most faithful just to flex on the bad guy he created. That's kind of sick in the head, to be honest. I agree. That is like very strange. Okay. Shapey, thanks so much for the Prime subscription. I appreciate it. And with that, we will go to the very next guest.
Let's go.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, man? I'm Robbie. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. How old are you?
I am 27, bro.
And what religion?
Yep, I'm a Christian. And yeah, just believe in Jesus. You want to hear some evidence? Is that what you're kind of looking for right
Yes,
now?
I would love evidence. Thank you. Gosh.
Very cool, man. Also, really quick, I'm trying to get my camera working here. There we go. Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Dude, by the way, I've seen a few of, I just want to say this. I've seen a few of your streams. And dude, I've been trying to get on here for like a long time. And I'm just like really honored and excited to get to talk to you.
Whoa, that's
Seriously.
cool. Yeah.
Okay.
What makes you think God is real? Like, what sort of argument or evidence do you have?
Yeah, man. So for me, I kind of started in the beginning. So I believe that there has to be a God because there has to be a creator that lives outside of time, space, and matter. And the reason for this is because without having someone or something that impossibly operates outside of the laws and rules and boundaries that we operate in this world, none of this could ever begin in the first place. So this being or thing has to exist and operate outside of the bounds of the rules that we abide by here in order for this to begin and start.
Why would I think that this had a start as opposed to always existing?
Well, so for example, with time, and I hate to be a broken record, man. I know you talk about this all day, every day. You're probably sick of it. But I would have to disagree with like believing in the idea that time just always had to be here. And the reason why I would have to disagree with that is because of this right here. Are you down for me doing an analogy real quick?
Sure.
Okay. Do you see my little piece of paper here, bro?
Yeah.
This little line right here. Okay. So let's just say, for example, and I know this has bounds, but let's just say that this basically represents eternity, like time eternally existing, okay?
A bit of a problem with that because it would need to just go on forever. But you're saying,
I can't possibly draw.
yeah, sure. I can imagine it just goes on forever. Sure.
Thank you, Ian. You the man. So yeah, let's say it's just eternally going on forever. So the reason why I have a problem with believing that this is possible is because I don't believe it's possible for a progression to occur if time eternally goes on. So for example, let's say, because I think you believe in the Big Bang, correct?
I do.
Okay. So let's say the Big Bang
Oh,
happened.
wait, sorry. Let me make you big screen again.
Yeah, you're totally, I appreciate you, man. All right, so let's say the Big Bang happens at this point of eternity,
Mhm.
you know, because it's just eternally existing.
Yeah.
Let's say, like, so basically if time always existed, how are we ever going to get past this moment right here if it's eternal and it's literally always been here? And it's like, if this is eternal long, how are we ever going to get to this point?
You're presupposing a beginning is the problem. Between any 2 points, there's going to be a finite distance.
Okay. So yeah, explain that further to me, just
Yep.
so I can.
Okay, so any time that you're inquiring about how do we get from here, how do we get from like a Google years ago to here? Well, you just wait a Google years.
Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. So I guess the reason why I'm struggling to grasp that is because we've never measured anything like that before. Like the only way that we have ever experienced life on this earth is literally getting from point A to point B. And anytime anything progresses, it always goes from point A and begins, and then it has to progress from that point to point B. It never just like eternally is always there, but then still progresses at the same time. Like, I feel like if time was eternal, shouldn't we be able to like measure that and like move backwards, forwards, in between? And
Why would we be able to?
well, because if it's eternal, that should be our experience, I feel like.
Why?
Because
We don't exist in eternity. I mean, we exist for like some finite amount of time.
so could you try this one more time with me, just so I can grasp it a little further?
Yeah.
Like, I really am struggling to grasp this concept because I don't understand like how this isn't a logical conclusion to come to as to why that doesn't work for time being eternal. Like why would stuff start beginning if time is just like kind of always impossibly been here? And like, how are we progressing? And it doesn't clock for me. No pun intended.
Sure. So here's I think like here's probably going to be the biggest objection is that I hold to a different ontology of time than you do. I hold that past, present, and future are all actual. This is called eternalism. I don't think that there's like a unique now and like the present is the only thing that exists. I think that past, present, and future all exist, but it's just that, for example, the future exists relative to the present. The future exists in the future. 10 minutes from now exists. It just exists 10 minutes from now. In the same way, 10 miles from here exists. It just exists 10 miles from here. So when you ask the question, like, how do we get to the right now? Well, the right now was always actual. It just existed at this specific segment in time.
So do you believe in like eternal people, basically? Like there's forever an eternal chain of people going this direction and that direction? Or maybe like there was always something, like some form of matter always going from this point that's eternally existing, like in the same way that you're describing, as in like, okay, 10 minutes from now, it's already happened. It's just eternal.
I don't believe in like an eternal chain of people. I believe that matter has always existed.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I just struggle that's a big faith leap for me. It's a huge faith leap.
Oh, it's not faith. It's evidentially supported. So, for example, if only the present exists, how would you explain the fact of relativity, of simultaneity, and general relativity? The fact that if you're traveling at close to the speed of light, on one place, like an entire hour could go by, but then, on like a rocket ship traveling close to the speed of light, it could only take like 5 minutes to pass. And then you have two nows that are like coexisting, but they're completely different times. how would you make sense of a phenomena like that if only the present exists? How could there be two different nows that are both equally true as being the right now if in fact there's only one present?
Well, have we ever experienced that before? Like, I mean, I've seen that in movies. I know what you're talking about, but like, have we actually like proven that that is a guaranteed fact, or is that just so?
Yep.
Like, this is what I have a problem with. So like, sometimes I struggle with like, okay, so we have to differentiate the difference between a scientific opinion and an opinion of scientists. So a scientific opinion is, okay, there's real evidence that I can actually measure here, and I can actually come to reason and logic based on the facts that I can lay out right in front of me, and that's a scientific opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The opinion of scientists, you literally just basically have like a scientist saying, hey, I have a hypothesis that this such and such happens with time whenever you experience this and that, and this is why I've come to this conclusion. But can it be?
What, there's like an echo, or I don't know. It's like, do you have headphones? There's like a ringing.
Is this a little better?
Hmm?
Is this a little better?
Yeah, a little bit better. Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
I had you on my little stand here.
That's okay.
I don't have a fancy setup.
Yeah. This is my friend Quantonaut. He's a physics PhD student, and he's actually done experiments that demonstrate the truth of relativity of simultaneity.
Great. Okay, so hey man, by the way, I'm Robbie. Very nice to meet you. Yeah, I guess my question is, can we confirm with 100% certainty that this is just a known fact that whenever the situations occur, as Ian explained, that okay, like all of a sudden time moves differently? Like, can we confirm that?
It's as confirmed as anything in physics is.
Okay, like what does that mean?
And I've directly worked on experiments that have confirmed the principles of special relativity. So all this essentially relies on the principle of time dilation. The fact that as you move closer to the speed of light relative to something else, your internal clock will slow down relative to that other thing. And the experiment that I've been on that has directly shown this is called the muon G-2 experiment, where we test these particles that are normally very short-lived when they're stationary. They survive for about like 2.2 microseconds. But when we move them up to near the speed of light, their lifetimes are extended by the exact amount predicted by special relativity.
So basically, the situation is like, and like this was done on what kind of a
particle accelerator?
An apple, or was it like an orange, or like what was the test ran on? Like what was it?
Well, it's a particle, a subatomic particle called a muon.
I'm with you. And you were able to decide that, okay, like this is now like younger in comparison to what it would have been if.
Yeah, it takes longer before it decays when it's sped up near the speed of light.
I see. Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know necessarily if this necessarily like means that. Well, let me just ask you. So, do you think that this is a good evidence for time being eternal?
I mean, there are several different models.
Oh wait, sorry. To be clear, this is not my argument for time being eternal. This is my argument for the B theory of time.
I apologize.
Yeah,
I didn't
with the B theory of time. Also, fuck, I don't know. I did a bit of changing of my camera configuration just now because somebody sent me like a screenshot of it being fucked. I don't know. Is it like giga fucked or?
Looks good to me.
Yeah, it looks fine to me too.
Okay. Sure. No, my argument for the eternity of time would be something like this. If time did not exist, then you would be in a timeless state. Timeless states don't change. Therefore, the fact that time doesn't exist wouldn't change.
I see what you're saying. Oh, and is this the okay? I think I've actually heard you talk about this before. And I don't. By the way, I don't want to pivot. Like quantum, or sorry, I want to get your name right.
You can just call me Quanta.
Is that okay? Okay, cool. Like, did you have anything else to say? I didn't want to cut you off or anything.
No, essentially what I was just saying was that the B theory of time, or the fact that all moments are equally real, is essentially experimentally confirmed, and it's been confirmed for like almost 100 years now.
Cool.
This is a very well-established thing, and it's not like an up to interpretation type thing. It's something that we can actually like physically test in the lab.
So do you think in the future it's possible to like get in one of these things, for example, and like, I mean, I know I'm sounding like a sci-fi, like, I'm sorry. I actually find this very interesting. So
that's a good question.
Is it very possible to maybe get in one of these things and before you know it, like 20 years down the line, I'm still 27?
Well, again, from your perspective, time is flowing normally.
Yes.
But from your point of view, it will look like everybody else is moving in slow motion.
Interesting. Have we ever had a POV of somebody like seeing that happen before or no?
Technically, so you can do the math on the amount of time dilation that would be experienced by astronauts on the International Space Station. And like at most, I think it's like in the microseconds over their entire lifetime that they get time dilation effects for. So it's not really a measurable thing for a person at that level.
Yeah, it's because you'd have to be traveling at like you'd have to be traveling at like light speed.
You probably
near light speed.
Yeah, near light. Yeah.
Yeah. Very interesting. Well, hey, that's
or get near a black hole. That's another way.
I see. Well, yeah. Hey, it's something that I want to look in more into. I think that's very interesting. I appreciate you and Ian letting me know about it. I'd love to look into it more. Yeah, like I'm very curious to see maybe if it progresses more. As in like if we can really start seeing things like, which I know, dude, it's going to be like so long before we could ever get to like the place that I was just describing. But yeah, I'd be curious to see if that maybe progresses to where like we can measure it further. That would be nice. But like, yeah, I'm not saying it's impossible.
Well,
It's
wait,
just,
sorry. The claim is much stronger than possible.
Yeah.
The claim is that like the totality of evidence would suggest that general relativity is true. This is just a result that falls out of general relativity. It can also be independently verified.
Okay, so why don't we think about it like this though? Like, what if what is happening? And again, I'm just spitballing here. Bear with me. But what if, yeah, your experience of like what you're seeing seems different, but ultimately time is still moving the same. It's just your own personal experience seems like. Is that what we're claiming right now?
No, we're claiming that time itself, like there's less time itself that actually
all of
occurs.
the laws of physics act like time is actually slowing down. And you know, if it quacks like a duck, it looks like a duck.
It's probably a duck. Okay, cool, man.
That's
well,
where all the evidence is pointing.
Okay. Well, hey, thank you very much, Quantum. I appreciate you, dude. And thank you, Ian, for jumping him on here. I actually appreciated diving into that a little bit. So very cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Happy to help.
Well, it's the evidence for the B theory of time. And kind of all of the infinity paradoxes dissolve, because what that demonstrates is that all moments are actual. You know, the future exists, it just exists 10 minutes from now. You know, the past exists, it just exists 10 minutes ago.
I see. So you just don't believe that there's an end, though? Like, what if potentially it all exists, but it still has a boundary? Do you think that's possible?
I don't know why I would. Okay. It's possible that there's like some T0 and like some final time, although presumably in your worldview, you wouldn't want to say that there's some final time. Presumably in your worldview, there's no problem with like an infinite future.
Well, so believe it or not, even though like I know in the past this has probably seemed like some impossible trap, but I actually like to dive into it. I think there's a perspective within the confines of time, with especially the topic of God, that I'd actually like to maybe present during our conversation today.
Sure.
But, yeah, if you want, like, would you run by me again what your claim was about? So if God essentially existed in a timeless state, then there could be no change. Therefore, it would be impossible for him to create anything because nothing in a timeless state changes, correct?
Yeah, exactly right. So we would have God, and at that point, God would have the potential to create. But in order to go from potential to actual, well, that's a change. You would need to change from being a potential creator to being an actual creator.
Gotcha.
You know, he would be in a timeless state. So we have this timeless thing that goes from potential creator to actual creator, which of course would be a change. So he can't do that, which means that God can't create.
Yeah, which again, I would still argue, and I'm not pivoting, by the way, I promise, we're going to dive into this, but I just really quick wanted to state, I would still somewhat argue that even a eternal time state kind of lands you in the same boat. But again, I guess we just disagree on like what that looks like, because you believe that all points of time already exist anyway, if that makes sense.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, so this is something that I would actually like to apply to this. So I would actually agree with you. I would agree with you in a sense that, okay, if that is the case, yeah, God's probably not real then. But there's something that I would like to present that I think actually helps make sense of this more.
Sure.
Okay.
Go for it.
So it's going to sound a little cringy, and I know people are like, oh, I'm going to go to the Bible now as a Christian to get my answer, but I'm going to make sense of it logically as well, okay? So Isaiah 55 verses 8 through 9 makes a claim about God, about his nature. And so this is what it says here. If you want to turn there, you can. You don't have to, though.
Isaiah 55?
Yes, so it's Isaiah 55 verses 8 through 9. Yeah. If you want me to wait on you, I can do that too.
That's okay. Yeah, go for it.
Cool, man. All right. So it says right here, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. So God's making a claim right here where he is saying, hey guys, I'm just going to be real. I literally operate outside of the bounds of your rule book, and my ways are higher than your ways, and my thoughts are higher than your thoughts. So like me and you, and I'm not trying to like downplay who we are, because we're all important to God. And I want to get into everything. Like, I know that's a hard thing to believe, especially with like the Amalekites and everything. I want to get into all of that, bro. That's an exciting topic that I actually would like to dive into. I know. Hey, but I actually know that there is an answer for these things. But to be honest, me and you right now, bro, we're sitting here and we're like essentially two limited human beings with limited access to knowledge. And in order for this stuff to exist, if you remember my claim from initially when I first started, it was that the being that created this, or the event that occurred to create all this, had to have been able to operate outside of the bounds of our understanding and our laws. Because if it's essentially, if God has to bend a knee to, for example, the law of time, he's not God. Because if God is God, then he would actually be above that law and be able to operate outside of it, impossibly. Otherwise, time could not exist. And that's my claim, because it's kind of like this, like, well, no, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Do you have something you want to say?
There's two things. The first is that I think that the claim that God is ineffable, that we just can't really understand God, is like almost certainly self-defeating, because you both need to be making the claim that God is impossible to understand, but also that you understand that God is impossible to understand. So it kind of seems like you both need to claim to have some understanding of God while denying that you can have any understanding of God at all. But like, setting that aside, if what you're saying is that God is outside of logic, then you kind of fall into just like the classic reductios that have existed for 2,000 years. You know, can God make a rock that's so heavy that he can't lift it? Presumably the answer needs to be yes, and then he can lift the rock too. So that's a contradiction.
I would disagree. So that's a great question. So believe it or not, and most people actually think this is blasphemous, but it's not, because we see it all throughout the scriptures. So the truth is, God can make a rock that he can't lift. And he does it all the time. So for example, when Jesus came down in human form, and, you know, essentially came and was born of a virgin, did the whole nine, you know the whole story.
Yep.
What he did was, it describes that God limited his power and allowed himself to become even lower than the angels. That means that literally he created a quote unquote rock that not even he could lift, and decided to come in the form of a man to live a perfect life, to die a sacrificial death on our behalf. And he couldn't do what he could before. And we see this all the time when God comes into covenant, for example, with, I believe it's Abraham in the scriptures. He says, you see this right here, I think an animal, I can't remember the full context, but it was something about like, there was like corpses or something, I don't know. And there was like a ripped in half animal or something like that. And God said, that'll happen to me if I break my covenant with you. So he literally made a rock that he couldn't lift, as in like, he has to complete this covenant. So he does it all the time.
Okay.
So the only boxes around God's impossible ability to essentially go and break the laws of nature because he's above them
I'm
is whenever
sorry. I'm
he
not
himself
asking. I'm
puts
not
it in
asking
a
a
box.
metaphorical question. I'm asking a literal question. Can God make a rock, a literal rock that literally he doesn't have the power to lift?
Yeah, I would say yes.
Okay.
I would
Does
say
God have the
yes.
power to lift that rock?
Not whenever he makes it to where he can't.
Okay. Then you would then say that God is within logic.
God is within logic. Listen. So here's the deal. I fully understand what you're saying. So he is within logic whenever he himself places himself in submission to something on purpose, when he willingly chooses. So whenever he doesn't do that, he literally, like, bro, like, what he's saying is he literally impossibly is able to like, for example, with time, like, we can't grasp the idea of like time existing eternally. I can't grasp the idea, like, in the same way I can't draw that line. I can't draw a line eternally because it's just impossible for me to even comprehend. Because I can only comprehend beginning and end, but literally God has no beginning and no end.
Does God have the power to make a rock that's so heavy that he can't lift it without limiting himself?
Yeah, say it one more time. That's a good question.
Without limiting himself, does God have the power to make a rock that's so heavy that he can't lift it?
That's a good question. Yeah. So in order for him to make a rock that he cannot lift, he has to willingly choose to limit himself.
Yeah, but without doing that, does he have the power to make the rock that's so heavy that he can't lift?
Oh, so you're like taking it a step more backwards.
Yeah, because like presumably if God isn't in logic, then he can just remain outside of logic.
I see what you're saying,
and then
man.
create
I
like the rock
apologize.
that's so heavy that he can't lift it without without limiting himself to logic. And then
I apologize. So this is what I'll say. I'm not saying that God is illogical. I apologize. That
that's
was
okay.
not my.
I don't think that you did say that.
Okay. I guess what I'm saying is God is able to operate within logic that's above our understanding, based on our perception. So like in the same way that like if you have okay, I'm so sorry, dude, this cringy notebook. So like if you have like a 2D person on this, and everybody hears this all the time, this concept, but if like I'll just draw a person right now. So if I draw a little stick figure right here, bro. Here, one sec. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. And we'll do another one. Okay. So let's say we got two guys right here, right?
Yep.
And their only ability to comprehend like measurement and stuff like that is on a 2D platform. Like they cannot grasp 3D.
Okay.
Because they can't even measure it. It's impossible for them because they're on just a different wave of logic than we are in comparison to us who can do 3D. And for us, it's easy because we can make graphs with 3D models, and we can grasp it because that is our perception. What my claim is that God, like for us, for me and you, we're like, no, something has to be timeless. If something's timeless, it can't change because that's just logical. And that's our point of view. My argument is that in order for the logic here and for these laws to exist and for all of this to be here, there has to be someone that can operate outside of that, beyond it, above it, still within logic, but above it.
That sounds like a direct contradiction. What do you mean like by above logic?
I don't mean like, okay, like, I mean basically like he has logic that is, above our logic, that's beyond our logic. He has access to logic that we can't comprehend because, as he claims, his ways are above our ways and his thoughts are above our thoughts. And it has to be like that because if he was stuck, limited like us, then he's not God.
Wait, maybe this is
a human being.
Maybe this is a better question. Because it doesn't involve God limiting himself at all. Does God have the power to make the sun both exist and not exist simultaneously?
Great question. Does God have the ability to make the sun exist and not exist? That's a great question, man. Yeah, and I know exactly why you're asking it. I would honestly argue. It's a great question. It's a great question. I'll tell you what. I would make the claim that it's such a good question. I'm not going to pivot either. I want to make sure because
That's okay. You can also say that you don't know. It's okay to.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. Well, because here's the thing, like God, and I'm fleshing it out in my mind.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, I have this thing where like, and I can tell we're very similar. Like you're a deep thinker, like as well, and like I never want to, because ultimately, like the reason why I don't want to pivot, low key, like, and this sounds a little cringy, but like, I just like. I'm here for you, bro. I'm not here for anybody else. I'm not here to attempt to try to make anybody look stupid or something like that.
That's
I just
okay.
want to see truth.
I don't think
in
that
the same
you're.
way.
I don't think that you're bad faith.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I'll say. Can God simultaneously make the sun exist and make it not exist? Yeah, I would basically say my answer is probably I don't know. And the reason why is because I understand that his ways are higher than my ways. His thoughts are higher than my thoughts. But as of right now, I would assume, based on my logical reasoning, on my perspective, in the same way these guys have a different view, like these guys in the notebook here with a 2D thing, I would say no, based on my logic of my point of view here. But maybe it's possible based on his logic, based on his playing field. But ultimately, I don't know.
So I guess like here's the problem is that. If it's possible for God to make the sun both exist and not exist, if we're saying we don't know if it's possible for God to make the sun both exist and not exist, then that means that we don't know if it's possible for contradictions to be true, which means that we don't know if the law of non-contradiction, like a law of logic, is true. So any rejection of logic for God or any implication that God is above some law of logic seems to entail that law of logic, like you're saying we need to be agnostic as to whether or not he can violate it, that seems to imply that we need to be agnostic as to whether or not that law of logic is true, which means that at that point we can't engage in like reasoning anymore because we're agnostic to whether these laws of logic are true.
Such a great point. I love this, man. Okay. Yeah, that's a great point. So this is what I would say, to your point. I would honestly say that I don't believe for a second that God is just illogically, just this whimsical essence that's just like, I don't know, like without order or reason, because he literally like one of the fruits of the spirit is like self-control and like putting things within discipline, right? So like God is for these things. And I do believe that God is like, for example, like in scripture, he's described as the righteous judge. So there is such a thing as right and wrong. There has to be. That's his claim. So I do believe that God is within logic. I do believe he is. But do I leave a little bit of room? Do I leave a little bit of room for like my limited knowledge here for him to do the impossible in the same way like he did the impossible with literally making the universe come to be? I do. I leave a little bit of room, and I think I should. And I think that's logically consistent because when I look around me and I see that this is here, basically I understand that there had to have been in the beginning a miracle that occurred. It had to have. That's the only logical conclusion. Like, for example, so if you're willing to, if you want to stay on time, we can. And I'm happy to do
That's
that.
okay. Whatever, we can move to a different topic if you'd prefer.
Well, would you like to maybe talk more about like, okay, so let's say we pivot from time and we start diving into like, how did the universe get here? Like, how did matter get here?
Sure.
Why don't we do that and see if we can find some more knowledge on that stuff. But like, I do want to be clear though, before we pivot onto that, did you feel like maybe some of my answers were at least more satisfying than usual? Maybe.
You want the honest answer or?
Yeah, dude, go for it, man.
No.
And that's fair. I get it. It's
no,
all
I
good.
think that the only rational conclusion that the God believer can give is that they think God is within logic. I think any other answer is like a surefire way to guarantee that your belief is irrational.
That's fair. And I'll tell you what, you might have changed my mind on that. You might have changed my mind on like maybe like, hey, can God create? I don't know. I do want to leave it a
Listen,
little bit of
there's a
room
really
still,
easy
but
resolution to all of that. You just need to say that God can't violate laws of logic. Or there's somebody in the comment section who's giving like, like, I don't know, like a good line, which is like, you might want to say that laws of logic flow from God's nature, or like maybe like part of God's nature is logic, or, logic is like a part of like the divine thoughts. So
Yeah.
God can't do anything that's like in violation of those things. There's like a million options that you can put forward that both makes sure that logic is like dependent on God, that it's like intimately connected to God, but then also that, God, that prevents like your view from being like illogical.
yeah, which makes perfect sense. And yeah, I guess what I just come to as of right now, like based on just like the way I just look at the universe and how it's all operating, I have to come to some form of a conclusion with like in the same way these 2D platformer guys, like on this piece of paper, they can't even comprehend a 3D thing. And to them, like if you say, for example, like they were having an argument about like, well, like, okay, someone drew us, apparently. I don't know, that's your claim, and that's apparently our God. But like how did he operate that? Because in order to draw us, like he would have to operate in this different realm that's like not bound by this, and that's illogical. But see, for us, it is logical because we are above that rule of being stuck in this spot.
So there's like an important distinction to make between logic and like, okay, in philosophy, there's this concept called modal scopes. So things can be possible or impossible in different ways. For example, it's logically possible for me to jump to the moon. There wouldn't be a contradiction in me jumping to the moon, but it's not physically possible for me to do that. It would violate a law of physics if I jumped to the moon. So there are different modal scopes. There's like the physical modal scope, the logical modal scope, metaphysical modal scope. Things can fail or things can be impossible under different modal scopes. Things can be logically possible but physically impossible, or maybe, logically possible but and like physically impossible but like metaphysically possible. So you probably want to say God can do things that are physically impossible, but he can't do things that are logically impossible.
Possibly. Yeah, no, and I hear what you're saying. Possibly. It's definitely possible. Do you at least find like that, because I heard you talking with someone earlier, and I believe you did find it somewhat unsatisfying whenever you made the claim about like God can't move a boulder that he makes it's too heavy for him. Like they were just kind of like, no, he can. Like do you find like what I shared to be maybe a little helpful?
I think that it's ultimately going to, well, I think it raises like an interesting question, but like, can God limit himself? But I think that there's like huge catastrophic theological implications to that. That means that it's not a part of God's essence to be all powerful if God can limit himself. So
I would actually argue if he couldn't limit himself, it makes him less powerful because that's something he literally can't do.
But that's
That
the
would be my
absence of a
argument.
power.
Yeah, but it's if you don't have the choice, it's kind of like this. Like if a king is ruling over a kingdom, and the only way that but yet he can't make a choice to like allow the townspeople to freely choose if they want to, like plant a garden in their yard or whatever. Like he, as the king, he should be allowed to limit himself and be like, I don't have to tell everybody what they do with their garden. I can just allow them to choose for themselves or something like that. Like, I feel like that makes a king more powerful if he like isn't limited to not limit himself.
Well, no, because what that would indicate, or at least at that point, you couldn't say that God is like essentially all powerful or like essentially maximally powerful, because a maximally powerful being can't be any less powerful than maximally powerful. At that point, you would have to say what it means to be God does not include being all powerful.
Well, I guess we can agree, like just agree to disagree, but like I just believe that if God is all powerful, he would be able to have the ability to limit himself if he chooses. And I believe it's actually, I'm really glad he did this.
Would he still be all
because,
powerful if he limited himself?
Yeah, I would say he would be. And the reason why is because even though he limited himself to not be powerful in the area he limited himself, he willfully chose to do that. So therefore, he is still above all. He's still above all. Unless, of course, like,
I don't
for
think
example...
I don't think that's true. Right? Like, I don't think... Let's say I, like, chop my arm off.
Sure.
Even though I made the decision to chop my arm off, I think that we would still come away with the conclusion that I've, like, lost a lot of powers by doing this.
Well, who knows? Maybe God does sacrifice all powerfulness at times in order to go and essentially love us. Like, I mean, he did that with Jesus. Like, Jesus did that. And that's undeniable theologically. Like, it literally says he, on purpose, became lower than the angels. So I guess he does at times sacrifice being all powerful in order to go and love us and sacrifice and do things for us. I do believe that. And, you know, I guess I don't want to get into, like, we can get into the free will conversation and, like, talk about that limiting aspect and how that's loving and all that stuff. But I do think we were about to get into... Sorry, was there anything else you wanted to talk about on this? I don't want to pivot.
No, wait, could I actually talk to you? I really enjoyed the conversation. There's somebody who's talking like an insane level of shit, and they're quite impatient usually. But I super appreciate the conversation. How's it going, bud? How old are you?
I'm 26. What's up, Ian? How old are you?
I'm 25. What religion are you?
Oh, well, basically, I could be classified as Hindu because I believe that God is all of existence, but I don't really fuck with the caste system.
Sure. Okay, and when I say God isn't real, do you think I'm saying like existence isn't real?
No, I think that you're saying God isn't real in the same way that identity isn't real.
I don't know what that means.
You don't? I bet you don't. Well, identity is just an idea that you make up in order to pilot your flesh mech efficiently.
Okay, so when I say God isn't real, you're saying like, what do you think I'm
Money
saying
isn't
there?
real, government isn't real, morality isn't real. It's all things we make up.
Okay. Sure. So you think that I'm saying like God is like a pragmatic belief?
No.
Wow, you know, maybe if I laugh a little bit, nobody will realize how incoherent all my statements have been so far.
For sure, yeah. It would be incoherent to you.
What's the argument for your God existing?
The argument for my God existing is that the universe is eternal, which means that anything that can happen will happen,
That doesn't
including
follow.
a God existing.
That
Why
doesn't
doesn't that follow?
Yeah, because even if the universe is eternal, the only things that are going to happen are the possible things.
Oh, so God happening isn't a possibility?
Why would I think that it is? Justify that.
Well, it's a little unscientific to not
Well,
think
it's,
that all possibilities can happen.
Why would I think that it's a possibility? That's a tracking failure. What you're trying to
That's a tracking
establish
failure?
is that it's a possibility, and your justification that it's a possibility is saying, well, scientifically, all the possibilities are possible. I don't grant that it's a possibility. What's the argument for
Ian,
that?
you've got a nice haircut. That's about the only thing you've got going for you.
Okay.
You don't really
you have a bad
understand much
argument,
else.
and it doesn't seem like you have any redeeming qualities either.
This hair looks much nicer.
This
than,
pivot was
you with
immaculate.
Scruffy. It does. I agree.
This is like a really good pivot, right? Like your argument fell apart instantly, and now we're doing meta.
What are you talking about? I don't even understand
What?
what meta is.
Huh?
I'm talking about identity
What?
not being real.
Huh?
I'm talking about morality and government.
But
and the idea,
I'm wondering, like, what's the
money
argument that
not
God
being real.
exists? Because your first argument fell apart like instantly.
You weren't wondering about that for the past 30 minutes. So
Maybe
what does
if
it
I
matter?
start wheezing, nobody will realize that I got the fuck kicked out of me. Maybe if I start laughing like the Joker, you know, when I laugh like the Joker, nobody realizes that I'm doing really bad.
If I laugh like the Joker, that's the only thing I have reference to.
Wow,
you
surely
like
surely
staring
not
at
the
shadows,
Joker
right?
laugh. Like surely the Joker
know
laugh
that
isn't going to
I'm
help your
basically
position
the
rhetorically
freed man
speaking.
coming to free you from your chains. and that
Basically,
still
you're
staring at
delusional
shadows, right?
and you sound like you haven't taken your medication.
Oh, we haven't taken our medication. We're ableist
Yeah.
now.
I don't think it's ableist to point out that you sound like super
It's a little
unhinged.
ableist.
If it's ableist to say that you're unhinged and that you sound unhinged, then I'm ableist.
Wait, hold on, Ian. Why aren't you unhinged? You know that society is in the gutter right now, right? So
Okay. Why would I want to be
insane
unhinged?
people think that things the way they are right now should be the way they are unhinged.
I don't
You realize
think
that, right?
that things should be the way that they are right now. And
So
you
then
also
you're
don't have an
also
argument
unhinged.
for God. Well, that just doesn't follow.
It just doesn't follow. Yeah, anyway, you have a nice haircut, but
You have a bad argument.
God
A bad
damn.
attitude too, to be honest.
do you shit from your mouth? Genuinely asking. This is crazy.
Yeah. I do, yeah. Do you see a bit of yourself in that? Insofar as like everything that comes out of your
Yes.
mouth is shit?
Yes, actually.
Would you, if I asked you to, would you be able to present like a picture of even a single friend group that looked happy to see you?
No, I lost all my friends like a year ago.
Granted. It seems like it.
You can't even force yourself to laugh. Oh my god.
Well, I'm just trying to
Does this
imitate
make
you
you
as
happy?
closely as I can.
Does
It does, yeah.
doing this make you happy?
Yep.
It does? It doesn't really seem like it. You seem kind of nervous and anxious.
You think? No, I'm
Yes, a
totally
little
calm right
bit.
now.
Well, I mean, it doesn't really seem like it. You need to fidget with the pin, you know,
I'm
like
always
constantly.
fidgeting. I fidget even when I'm completely calm.
Yeah, that's kind of an anxious indicator.
Oh, but not for me. I'm just a fidgeter.
Oh, not for me.
Zero anxiety. You know, one might say like laughing like the Joker is more of a nervous indicator.
Yes, absolutely. Even the Joker, you know, in Joaquin Phoenix's movie.
You're
laughed
just like
because
him for
he was
real, for
nervous.
real. Gosh.
I wouldn't compare myself to that, but okay.
I'm Widowy, the Joker.
And he's making fun of speech impediments, but he's not ableist, guys.
Nope. I'm making fun of you, bud.
Ian, you know you don't have to be this person, right? You know that identity is made up, right? And you can choose to be a different person at any point in time.
Sarah, did you say that? Did you say something?
Yeah, I did. You know that you
Oh,
don't have to
and
be this
wait, who
person,
did?
right?
You did? You
And
just
that identity-
presupposed identity just now. You just defeated your own position by presupposing identity. Yeah. When you say I, that
As
presupposes
in
an
the only thing
identity.
in existence? Yes. I as in the only thing in existence.
When you
as in
say
the
when you say
universe.
you versus I, you create
No,
a distinction
I say
there.
I.
Yes.
don't say
and when
you.
you say I, are you talking about me?
No, I'm talking about I. Duh.
Does that include me?
That includes I. That includes everything.
But does that include me?
That includes I.
So you would say
Yes,
like
I
you
guess
are
technically
Jeffrey
that includes
Epstein?
You because you have invented an identity, and so that exists, right? Because we invented
Would
money.
you say that you're Jeffrey Epstein?
I guess I exist in the same reality
Say
as
it.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Say it. Say that you're Jeffrey Epstein.
Why do you want to hear me say that so bad?
I don't think you will. I think you know that it's insane.
No, I think it's
If
gross.
it's not insane, then say it. It's what you believe,
If it's
isn't
not
it?
insane. I have no worries about being insane. I'm up here.
Then say it. It sounds like there's like a part of your mind that knows that this is fucking
Also, then prove
crazy.
it.
No, just say it. It's your view. Why are you embarrassed of your view? That shows that you have
I'm
like
not
some
really
sanity
embarrassed.
in
I
you.
think that's gross. I think it's gross. To
Why would
say
it be
that
gross? It's what
I
you
was
believe.
A child sex trafficker.
It's
and
what you
that I was a
believe, isn't it?
pedophile.
It's what you believe,
No.
isn't it? So
No.
so child sex trafficking isn't a part of reality?
Yes, it is.
Sure. And when you say I, by that you just refer to all of reality.
Yeah, I
So
do.
child
including
sex trafficking is a part of you?
you. Yeah, it is.
Disgusting.
It is. It's
And-
gross.
Yeah. The fact that child sex trafficking is a part of you is disgusting.
Yeah, it is, and I have to live with
He
that.
killed the one
second
sane part of
the day.
him. He was met with a dilemma. You know, there were branching routes that he could have taken. He either could have said, "Wow, this is crazy. I'm not going to say child sex trafficking is a part of me,"
It's all crazy.
or
and
he could be
it's crazy that
logically
we don't go out and
consistent.
kill every pedophile in existence.
I think we probably should. I wouldn't
We
mind.
should. So then, why don't you?
I don't know where they are.
You don't know where
I
they
also
are.
I don't
You
want to
know
go to
that-
jail.
You know that the sex offender registry is public, right? And
Yeah,
that
I don't
you
wanna
can
go to
just
jail.
Go on the, oh, so you're scared. You're
Yeah,
scared to go
scared
to
of
jail.
going to jail. Yes, I'm scared of going to jail. Yes. I don't want to go to jail. Yep.
So then you admit that there are things that you won't do, even though you know that the people doing them are wrong, right? You won't kill a pedophile because
Wouldn't kill a
you're scared of
pedophile.
going to jail.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. If ever it
So
became
then it's
legal, then
crazy.
things might change.
You're allowing children to be abused because you're scared of going to jail. That's what you're saying.
Oh yeah, that's correct.
Oh my God!
Yeah. If the alternative is like, you know,
That's
I go do
crazy.
vigilante justice and like shoot a pedophile, if doing that means that I lose like a
That's
substantial
crazy.
portion of my life, well, I'm just not going to do that.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
and to be clear, do you do that?
No, absolutely not. I'm crazy,
Why not?
right? Remember?
Oh, sure. Okay. Of course.
Oh man, dude. So you don't go and do certain things because it would take away from your life.
Yes,
so
that's
you're a
correct.
bit selfish in that way. We're
Yeah.
all selfish in that way.
Of course.
That's okay. That's valid. Hold on, please.
Are you good? I didn't even say anything. You're like hallucinating. You're like shadow boxing.
You didn't even say anything. I didn't even say anything. And
I
you're
didn't even
talking
say
in the entire
anything.
time that I'm talking.
You interrupted yourself. Oh, you're actually genuinely hallucinating. If you think that I was
right
talking
now.
while you were talking, then you were hallucinating, unironically.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. You know that all of reality is just a slice of reality, right? As we experience it.
The fuck does
It's
that
just a
mean?
slice.
What does that mean?
It means that our natural laws don't apply universally.
And by natural laws, what do you mean?
I mean that the bigger you get, gravity impacts time. And the smaller that you get, things exist in a state of probability.
Hmm. Okay. And which of those
So then our
things
natural
isn't in
laws
line
don't
with natural laws?
They don't apply universally.
Oh, sorry. So which part of them does it apply?
Ian, do you exist in a state of probability?
I don't know what that question is asking.
I mean, very literally, do you exist in a state where we don't know where you are until you're observed?
Who's we? Like, I know where I
We?
am.
Oh, okay. Who's we? Let's just ask questions until we can find a thread to pull on, for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to
Who's
ask
we?
questions until you start making
We,
sense.
the chat,
Sorry.
me and you.
Do they know where I am? They totally
Until
could
you're
know where I
observed.
am. For
No, 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 no,
example,
no, no.
well, yes,
Do
yes.
we?
For example, my girlfriend doesn't observe me, but she has my Apple location, so she can know where I am, despite the fact that she's not observing me.
Right. Is she we?
Yeah, she's probably watching right now.
No, is she we? Is she the whole, the collective?
Ooh, sorry. I don't think that she's all of reality. That's delusional.
Exactly. Thank you
but
very
she's
much.
probably a part of we. And also, in your
Yes, a
view,
part.
in
Just like
your
you're a
view,
part of
wouldn't she
God.
be we? Why'd the chicken cross the road?
To get to the pedophile's house.
To get to the other side.
Pedophile. 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 Oh, he's uncomfortable now.
Are you like
Look at him.
short circuiting? Oh,
Pedophile.
sorry. I was listening to the.
Pedophile.
Oh,
Pedophile.
are you short circuiting?
Pedophile.
You short circuiting?
Pedophile.
You short circuiting?
Pedophile.
You got evidence?
Pedophile.
Wait, are you accusing me of being a pedophile? Is that what's happening?
No, I'm saying it to try and get your live band. Duh.
Oh, damn! This
Do
is
you
like a
need all
legendary
things
crash
spelled
out.
out for
You
you
know,
that
you can
simply? Oh my
say,
God.
you can say the word pedophile. It's not going to get a live band. Pedophile.
Okay,
pedophile.
can I say rape?
Pedophile.
Or can I say
rape?
rape? Or can
rape.
I say sex offender?
Rape.
Or can I say
Pedophile.
child
Rape.
diddler? Or
Child diddler. Yeah. None of these are going to get blah. None of these are going to get a live band. Blah, 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 blah. None of these will get a live band. You're stupid.
I am. I'm very stupid.
Yep.
But you know have you ever heard the saying that by engaging with the fool, you only prove that there are two?
Very insightful. Very insightful.
No, it's just true.
Well, I think what you're not grasping is that by engaging with the fool, you get to make pretty
I think
good
that what
content.
you're not grasping is that identity isn't real.
Oh, I think what you're not grasping is that identity is real. When you say you're presupposing an identity. I don't know if
Identity
you're aware of
is
that.
and isn't real. Identity is real because you make it up, and
Oh, that's a
identity isn't
contradiction.
real because you're a Yes, life is full of contradictions.
Sure, and
Are
do you
slow?
understand that contradictions are false?
Why would contradictions be false? Because
Yeah, happy to
logic.
demonstrate it. Yep.
No. Why
Because
would
yeah,
contradictions
yeah.
be false? Because
yeah,
logic.
because when you say
You know
that
that
something
we
is
can
not
only
the
observe
case,
95%
then
of
you're
the
just
universe, right?
you're creating
Why
a
would
distinction
our
between what
idea of
is and what
logic be
isn't.
the end all be all to
I'm
reality?
explaining that to you. Do you want to explain?
No, you're not, because you're not
Yeah,
listening.
I am. Do you want it explained?
No, you're not, because you're not
Yeah, I
listening.
am. Do you want it explained? Ha ha ha.
Oh my god. Ian. I love you.
Mhm.
You know?
Seems
I
like
wish
it.
nothing but why would you think that I don't?
I think you do. I said it seems like it.
Well, I mean, it kind of seemed sarcastic. My
No.
bad. Yeah, I'm assuming a little too much. And
Yeah, you know what
say about
there's a
assuming.
saying about assuming. Assuming makes
That's
an
what I just
ass out
said.
of you
Thanks
and
for
me.
repeating me. Yo, you almost got it. You almost got
Yeah.
it. Try a little bit harder next time.
Yeah.
If you build that path in your brain, you might actually be able to laugh.
Yeah, I bet if I like put the bullet in my brain, I'll end up a bit like you.
If you put a bullet in your brain. Have
Yeah.
you ever played Fallout New Vegas? You know
have.
that like putting a bullet in your brain is pretty cool, right?
No. Fallout New Vegas
yeah?
is a video game, right? It's not real.
Yeah,
the
I know
events
it's
of
a video
Fallout New
game, and I
Vegas
know
are
it's a
fictional.
story,
I don't know if
and I
you're
know
aware of that
it's
fact.
a fringe account. Are you stupid? This guy treats video games like reality. Oh my god.
That's funny. He's projecting that onto me. Maybe if I project onto you my own blunders, nobody will notice.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you need me to? Do you have like a caretaker? Do you need me to like call someone for you? I can call a caretaker for you.
Thank you. I'd appreciate it. Go ahead.
Yeah, who's your caretaker? I'll call him.
I don't have one. Can you assign me one?
I think the state probably should assign you one.
Oh, that's too bad. The state is made up too, right?
I do.
You know
Yeah.
that borders are made up,
Yep.
so they're not real.
Oh,
Just
that
like
doesn't.
God.
Oh, sorry, that doesn't
But does
follow.
that not
For
affect
example,
us in
like
our everyday
language is
life?
made up, but language
Yeah.
is still
And
real.
it makes you smarter too. That's the crazy thing.
Language?
Yeah, language makes you smarter.
Okay.
Did no one tell you? Oh my god.
Okay. It's like
You're
kind of a
worse
trivial
off than
claim.
I
It's like
thought.
not interesting.
Okay, it's not interesting,
It's-
but you
yeah.
keep me up here.
It's like obviously true. Yeah, I'm milking you for content. I don't know if you're aware of that.
That are interesting on your live.
You made an uninteresting claim, but you as a guest, well, you're going to make phenomenal content.
Thank you. Oh my god, I think I can
You know,
make phenomenal
engaging with the
content,
fool
and
makes
show
you
me
into
that
a
I can
fool
do it.
unless you're filming you engaging with the fool and posting it on YouTube, in which case,
Yeah, I'm
you
a
know,
fool unless this thing
You
that
called
I
yourself
do
a
makes me a
fool.
fool. Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah,
I'm mimicking
no,
you.
he's still contradicting himself.
We're-
He can't help it.
You
He
know
just
that
walks
life
forward, steps
has
straight on the rake.
contradictions in it, right?
Not true ones.
Not true ones.
Nope, there are no true contradictions.
Why not?
Because when you say that something is not the case, you're presupposing an is and an is not, and then
Mm-hmm.
the is not the is not. Therefore, when you have a contradiction, you have something that both is and is not, and this can't be because the is not the is not.
Right. So life can't be good and bad. The sky can't be blue and not blue.
The life can't be good and not good entirely. There can be parts
No,
of
no,
life
no.
that are good, and there can be distinct parts that are not good. There can't be a part of life that is
What is not
entirely
good?
good and a part of life that is entirely not
good
good.
is bad, right?
Yes. Yeah, there can't be a part
So
of
then
life that's
can't be
good.
good and bad.
Oh, sorry. I made this distinction for you. It couldn't be entirely good and entirely not good.
Right. It's both.
It's entirely good and entirely not good.
Yes.
There's just no distinct thought there.
Why is there no distinct
All
thought
quiet
there?
on the
Please.
frontal lobe.
No, please enlighten me. Why is there no
Yeah,
distinct
because
thought
you're
there?
both claiming that it is the case and isn't the case. So you're claiming that
Yeah.
you're wrong.
That's kind of how that works.
So you are claiming that your own position is wrong.
No, I'm claiming that
Yeah, that
contradictions
is.
exist in
When
real
you
life.
affirm a contradiction, you're affirming
No,
that you're
because
wrong.
putting words in my mouth.
Yeah, you're saying that something
Maybe
is the
if
case and that
I
it's not the
assume
case.
that he blunders
Yeah, that is
and
what that means,
I project my
unfortunately.
blunders onto him,
Yeah, you
then
say,
he'll,
it is this way and
understand
then
a
it's
little
not
bit.
this way. That's a contradiction. You're claiming that you're wrong. That's the problem with it.
Your live is a shit show of people talking over each other. That's too funny, dude.
Only with you.
This is how you make money?
Only with you. I don't
I'm
know if you're aware of
jealous.
that.
No, honest to God, I'm jealous that this is how
Yeah.
you make money.
You should be.
I really
It sounds
am.
like you don't
No,
have a lot going on in your life, quite frankly.
I don't. That's why I'm here. That's why we're all here.
Granted.
That's why 600 people are here. We don't have much.
Oh shit, he got removed. Well, make sure you're double tapping on that screen share it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. Okay. Well, make sure you're double tapping on that screen. Gotta milk that sweet, sweet content. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen share it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. Christopher Sanford, thanks so much for the super chat. Oh wow. There really are some wild ones tonight. No kidding. This was, fun fact, this was sent before that guy joined. Ice Reptilian, thanks so much for the super chat. He's still in chat. Look at that. Imagine allowing the torture of your most faithful just to flex on the bad guy that he created. That's kind of sick in the head. True. Christopher, thanks so much for the super chat. Oh, wow. Oh, the worst part, honestly, is that he thinks he's cooking right now when he just sounds like the cringiest 16-year-old in class. That's true. Pixel Booty, this is incredible, indeed. John Klein, thanks so much for the super chat. Here's some money, Ian. Appreciate it. You know, this guy, that's the guy. Who do we got next? We got Catholic Thinker. Hey, so the live is restricted, so I guess I'll plug this now. If you want to get started with philosophy, but you don't know where to start, you should come join the book club. It's happening in 1 hour, which means that you have enough time to listen to the audiobook for Michael Humer's Knowledge, Reality, and Value. The topic this week round is Catholic Thinker. Are you there?
Yes, I am. I was just waiting for you to finish.
Okay. I thought I heard something weird. Okay. The topic for this week is arguments for theism, arguments that attempt to establish God's existence. So, yep.
Yeah, I just wanted to come up to kind of like plug that as well, like just get people excited to join the book club. I will say I am disappointed in Michael Humer. He didn't present one argument that I thought would have gone over really well for the book club. I'm not sure actually if we've talked about this particular argument before. Have you heard of the argument of wah?
Wah. Why?
Waluigi time.
Why isn't he looking at the trees?
I know, right?
Which
But
okay,
no.
imagine you're walking in a forest and you come across a tree. You know, look at that tree. Wouldn't you think that that tree is designed?
Funnily enough, someone was actually asking in Discord, hey, you know, is there even a steel man possible for that argument? And as a side project, I've been going around looking at different terrible
Trees.
arguments and trying to figure out what is the absolute strongest way to present this argument. And that was actually one of them. All it really does, though, like the only way I could make it even make any kind of sense was just, there's something unusual happening there. We don't know what. Couldn't get it to work to a god.
Well, I think that the good version of look at the trees is you just run like a fine tuning argument.
It's kind of like that. Yeah, like a watchmaker fine tuning. It was mostly looking at our response to beauty is the way that I was doing, because like anytime I've heard of like look at the trees, it has to do with like look at the emotional response we have to it.
Sure.
And just trying to look at the like why do we respond to beauty in the way that we do? What like that's the only way I could make any kind of sense of that argument.
Sure.
But
yeah, do you have
honestly, mostly came up because Constantine dared me to come up to do the Waluigi noise.
Ah, okay, sure. Get
But
the
no, the timing was.
fuck out of here. Hey, how's it going?
Oh, hi. Yeah, hi.
Yep. Hey, how old are you?
35.
Yep. And what religion?
I just believe in God.
Okay. What makes you think God is real?
A personal experience, and I know you don't really like those, but
But so personal experience, but not for any specific God?
yeah, the Christian God. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. So, but you're telling me like God can find time for you, but he can't find time to like cure world hunger?
Well, he didn't do anything for me. Just sort of revealed himself.
Yeah.
There was no like financial aid or didn't get me out of poverty or anything. Just
You sound really
let me know
quiet.
so-
Can you speak up?
Yeah, I'm using headphones, so
You might want to pull the mic in or something.
Is that any better?
Yeah, actually, that should be fine. Okay. But if God reveals himself to you, I mean, he could, God's all powerful, so presumably he has the power to do anything in your view. He could have revealed himself to you, or he could have like cured all of world hunger. And he chose to
that's
reveal
not the
himself to
same-
you.
That's not the same thing, is it? Revealing yourself to a person isn't the same as fixing a whole problem. Because if you fix like a whole problem, like cancer, like I know you use the cancer argument. If you fixed cancer and then you fixed poverty and world hunger, and there were no bad things left in the world, would there be any good things in the world? Because
Sure.
aren't good things? Well, what makes something good? Isn't it just the opposite of something bad?
No, right. So what makes something good specifically is that it's in line with the reasons that that agent has for action. So, for example, when we're making the claim that God is all good, we're saying that he's always doing the things that he has the reasons to do. So presumably we could just live in a world where people always did the things that they rationally had reasons to do.
Okay. I don't really understand that, but if you take a good experience, like hugging a loved one or falling in love with somebody or being in good health, you only appreciate being in good health if you've been in bad health, and if you've always been in good health, it doesn't matter to you. It's not a good thing because it's the norm. If there was no hunger or nobody would care about. Sorry, I'm not explaining myself very well. If everything's good, and that is the only thing we know, that's our only reality. The notion of bad wouldn't exist. So there needs to be bad things for there to be good things. You wouldn't feel good about anything.
So why couldn't God make it then that nobody actually starves to death nobody starves to death, and instead all the people that look like they're starving to death are like NPCs that don't have like a conscious experience?
Well, you could say that to every example of bad things in the world. What was your example just then? Poverty?
Yeah, people starving. Like, why at that point wouldn't I assume that these aren't even real people? That God just made them like NPCs to give me like contrast with my life?
Oh, I don't know God's plan or reason for doing everything, but
But wouldn't it be better if these weren't
everything-
actually people and were instead like NPCs? You know, that way nobody would actually starve to death, but you'd still get like the good that you're talking about. I think that under your worldview, the rational conclusion is that nothing severely bad actually happens to anybody, and that all these people are like fake.
No, I mean, good times, I mean, bad times can't be forever. There's nobody eternally suffering, is there? There's nobody who feels eternal suffering and that's it. You know, maybe somebody who is in extreme poverty finally finds some clean drinking water and a meal. That's going to be the most joyous experience. Like me, if I go and get a drink of water now, there's plenty of water and I don't really think about it. That's going to be like drinking a really beautiful like nectar. It's going to be an amazing experience because of how much bad has preceded before that.
But some people starve to death and they never find the beautiful, joyous experience.
Do you have an example of that?
Yeah, all the people that starved to death. You know, there was no beautiful, joyous experience in the end for them. They starved to death.
Like who?
Like all the people, there's literally millions of people that starve to death. I don't need to know the names of any of them to know that they exist.
So, do you have a case of... so you don't know...
Do you think
like
the
that, but you know
Holocaust
they exist?
happened?
Yes.
Okay, can you name like
Yes.
5 people who died in the Holocaust? Fuck, you don't think the Holocaust is real? You can't name a single one? So you do think the Holocaust is real, but you can't by name a person who died in it?
Anne Frank.
Anne Frank? Okay, name 4 more?
I could Google it.
Sure, I could Google the names of people who starved to death, but whether or not I know their names is completely irrelevant. That's an absurd
Can you do
standard.
that then? Would you be happy to do that then?
Yeah, I can. Names of people who
Somebody who's
starved to death.
And had no good experiences before that, or
That's not
at
my
the moment of
claim.
death
Just that
they
there
felt-
was no beautiful, joyous experience of, you know, getting to eat
because they
food.
starved to death. No, nobody's lived without having a single meal.
What about
unless
people
they
who
all
are
died of
like,
emergency.
I don't know, they're like all those babies that get like thrown into like dumpsters.
Okay.
They didn't have a single
Yeah,
meal.
I can't account for that. I can't account for, you know, people being, you know, like abortions and things, like really terrible things that I have no explanation for.
Well, but what about like what about miscarriages too? Why would God make it such that there's like 20% of pregnancies that end in miscarriages?
The next child, you know, when they finally do have, maybe that wasn't planned, and they didn't really care about the sanctity of life or having a child, and then that made them realize it, and then they did have a child because they wanted to, and they loved that child. But if they had the first child, they wouldn't have loved it. It wouldn't have been a good life. But in the other alternative, good come from that. You know, sometimes terrible things need to happen for even greater things to happen. That's what I think.
Okay, but why these things? Because for a lot of people, they have nothing but miscarriages.
See, yeah. Why do you believe that?
Because it's like
seem to believe
statistically
that-
true. Yeah, it's called recurrent pregnancy loss.
That was just an example. Can you see the point I'm trying to illustrate? Is
But you would need to be able to account for these cases.
why?
because otherwise your justification fails. If what you're saying is that miscarriages happen to build like a deep gratitude in people who finally do conceive, you know, after they've miscarried so many times, that just doesn't apply to people who have nothing but miscarriages.
I'm saying some ultimate good will come from that. They'll appreciate life more, or some good in their life will come from that. They'll reevaluate life.
Yeah, and what's the name of one person for who that was true?
I'm speaking hypothetically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my point is
Sure.
good.
Well, I guess for the starving kids, I was just speaking hypothetically.
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying not to get defensive, but yeah, you're a lot sharper than me, so I'm never going to win this debate. I don't think I'm going to bring
It's
a lot to
okay.
it, but
You didn't get offensive, but hey, I'm probably gonna wrap up stream soon. All Quiet on the Frontal Lobe stealing that one. Yeah, it's a good one. You should steal it. Anyway, yeah, that's all you get, folks. But we're doing the reading group. The book club's in like an hour. I'll see you all there. Love all of you. Talk to you all later. Have a good one.